League. Today from the Los Angeles Coliseum in Los Angeles, California, it's the Kansas City Chiefs against the Los Angeles Raiders. Brought to you by Mercury Cars, the shape you want to be in. By Bud Light, everything else is just a light. And by RCA, creators of video technology that excites the senses. A pleasant ocean breeze from the west, cooling an 80-degree day, 60,000 expected for this renewal of a long-standing rivalry. Intense it has been through the 26 years. The Raiders and the Chiefs go at it again here in Los Angeles. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. The times have been tougher for the Chiefs of late, although both teams have celebrated Super Bowl wins, but the Chiefs come to Los Angeles in first place.
Well, they certainly do, and they come with a victory against the Raiders at home in their pocket. Some concern today about injuries. Mark Wilson, who's been starting in place of Jim Plunkett, twisted an ankle last week, was not able to practice until late in the week. He's a question mark today. We may see Rusty Hilger, the young rookie. On the other side, Carlos Carson, wide receiver, very important to this Kansas City offense, also injured and may not play today.
Nick Lowry will kick it off for the Chiefs. Deep to return for the Los Angeles Raiders, newly acquired Fulton Walker, the former Miami Dolphin. He's on the right of your screen, and Sammy Seal to the left. And we're underway at the Coliseum. Seal at the 3. 20, and down he goes at the 25-yard line. Good tackle made by Ken Jolly, number 52 of the Chiefs. Mark Wilson comes in with the Raider offense. Of course, he has a bad ankle. We'll watch him. Mostbard center for the veteran Dave Dolby. Marvin and Hannah guards. Lawrence and Davis are the tackles. Todd Christensen, the tight end and leading receiver for the Raiders. Doki Williams averaging over 22 a catch, and rookie Jesse Hester on the outside. The running backs behind Wilson are Frank Hawkins and the incomparable Marcus Allen. Allen gets the call and gains but 2 or 3. Slowed down by Spaney, the tackle by Kevin Ross. The defense for the white jersey Chiefs, who are 3-1. 3 number 1 picks on the front line. Bill Moss on the nose, Art Still, and Mike Bell at the ends. Daniels, Radisic, Spaney, and Jolly, the linebackers. At the corners, Albert Lewis and Kevin Ross. Otis McKinney, a former Raider. He'll be on Christensen much of the day. I wonder if he learned anything in those Raider practices. And Deron Sherry, number 20, with 4 interceptions last week, is at the other safety spot. Second down, call it 7. Wilson's first throw, dumps it off to Allen, and Allen gets nowhere. Good play made in the flat by Ken Jolly, the second-year man from Mid-American Nazarene.
Dick, one of the things we'll be watching today as we keep an eye on Mark Wilson is that's his planting foot. That's his right ankle that is injured. You'll see him go back, and as he plants, he'll be a little tender on that ankle. That should mean that he'll throw more with his arm today and less with his body. That may hurt him on the longer passes.
And watching him throw yesterday in practice and warm up today, his passes tended to be a little tall, a little high. Jim Plunkett on the sideline, shoulder surgery. Third down and 8. Open is Williams on the sidelines, and Doki Williams has a first down at the Raider 44. 16 yards on the play.
Doki Williams living up to the expectations and then some of this Raider team. He has become their long ball threat, really catching the ball well and using his speed today. You see him getting open there. Nice job.
Williams coming into the game with 15 catches and averaging 22.1 per reception. Gets 16 on that one and a first down on the third down throw. Just underway in Los Angeles. Wilson with Hawkins and Allen behind him, both wide receivers to the right. Allen, and they zero in on Marcus, who has had trouble getting into the secondary. Talked about that yesterday, lamenting about the fact that he just is drawing such a crowd. He says, I haven't had any chance to go out and show my moves in the secondary.
He is not going to be a neglected man against any team in the NFL. If you watch the Raider film, you know about Marcus Allen, and you know you've got to put a couple of bodies on him when he's out as a pass receiver, and a lot of bodies on him when he's running the football.
Nevertheless, the leading receiver and rusher out of the backfield for the Raiders, 19 catches, and you saw 283 yards rushing coming into this one. Wilson, the first sack of the day to Art Still, the veteran from Kentucky. And for the Chiefs, their 8th sack of the year. They have 12 interceptions. That's only one less than the NFL leader, the Dallas Cowboys.
Watch from the left-hand side of your screen. Number 67 Still coming from behind and taking Wilson down. That's the kind of situation that's forced a lot of fumbles on this Raider team. Still, by the way, working against Henry Lawrence, and that's one of those matchups that traditionally should have been much better than it has been. Still is usually getting the edge on number 70, Henry Lawrence, and that's a funny one. Lawrence, a fine offensive tackle.
Well, both men were Pro Bowlers last year. On 3rd and long, over the middle it goes, short of the first down to the tight end Todd Christensen. His first catch of the day, his 28th of the year, leads Los Angeles. Albert Lewis made the tackle, short of the first down at the Raider 49.
Wilson not showing a problem with that ankle in that first series, but something I noticed there, they're flashing all the signals from the sideline to Mark Wilson. That's a first. These Raider quarterbacks usually call their own plays, but obviously they have decided to give Mark a little help in calling his plays this week.
Garcia Lane, the rookie at the other end, as Ray Guy, with his nearly 41-yard average, lines one toward the sidelines, and it'll go out of bounds. That won't make Guy very happy. That one's going to come out outside the 15-yard line. Well, right at the 15, they mark it. 36-yard punt. As you see, Tom Flores along the sidelines.
That's Jim Plunkett, I believe.
Oh, that's Plunkett. Looks like Flores.
Yeah, it does.
Plunkett, who had his 5th shoulder operation.
Illegally before the kick, number 39. We're going to re-kick with a 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
An early release by one of the blockers for the Raiders, so Ray Guy will have to kick it over again. Plunkett in the San Francisco game crushed under a tackle. Miami rallying in the 4th quarter to win at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers still looking for a victory down at the Orange Bowl. And Plunkett, shoulder separation, the left shoulder, his 5th shoulder operation to go with 3 knee operations. He's been a busy man in the clinic. Guy tries it again. Beautiful spiral. Look at how he deadens the ball. What a kick by Guy that gets it in the end zone. It does. They're not able to down it. It hit the goal line before Derek Jensen and Strahan could cover. We welcome those of you who have just seen outstanding first half of our NBC doubleheader as the Miami Dolphins rallying in the 4th quarter to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-20 in a replay of the AFC Championship. This is the action. Ray Guy's punt very nearly down before the goal line, but the player or the ball must have touched the end line.
Actually, what happened, Steve Strahan dove at that football. If he just let the ball lie or tapped it back, it was a perfect kick by Guy, and they would have forced Kansas City to start inside the 1-yard line.
Instead, they get the touchback at the 20. Herman Hurd, 44. Rookie Bruce King behind Bill Kenny. No score. 4 minutes plus gone in the first quarter here in Los Angeles. Kenny with a handoff to Hurd. He's got running room. 30. And Herman Hurd to the 40-yard line. Bill Kenny from northern Colorado to Herman Hurd of southern Colorado. That's north to south as we go back to that kick by Guy.
Look how that ball was dying right there. All they have to do is keep it from touching the line, but that sliding body just brushed up against the goal line. Kansas City getting off to a good start here. They're 27th in the league running the football. They're trying to improve that running game, and that certainly bodes well for their running game today, at least with one play anyway.
22 yards on the first carry by Hurd. Stephon Page in motion playing for the injured Carlos Carson. Kenny's first throw. He's going for it all to Henry Marshall. And what a catch by Marshall at the 21 of the Raiders. Over Mike Haynes. Marshall, the number 3 all-time pass receiver in Kansas City history. A dandy.
Dick, we're seeing something that has been a part of a trend this year. More and more teams challenging these Raider cornerbacks. You see it right there. Man-to-man coverage. Excellent coverage. But Kenny has such confidence in his wide receivers that he'll go after them anyway. Gets the ball in there high. Henry Marshall just went up and took it away from Mike Haynes. What a great play.
Veteran from Missouri gives the Chiefs a first down at the Raider 20, a 38-yard play. Kenny to Hurd. And Herman runs into a herd of Raiders led by Matt Millen and Howie Long. Let's check that Kansas City offense. Rush the center. Buddy and Olderman. Olderman a rookie at guard. Lutz and Herkenhoff. The tackles Herkenhoff, the veteran in that line. Stephon Page for Carson at one wide receiver slot. Henry Marshall just saw his catch. Wold Arnold, the tight end. The backfield for the Chiefs. Bill Kenny with the youngsters. Bruce King, a rookie from Purdue, and Herman Hurd, a second-year man. He is the most experienced runner that the Chiefs have. And it's only his second season in the league. Second down 8. Anthony Hancock, 82 in the lineup. Kenny to throw. To this side, incomplete to Hancock. Lester Hayes on the coverage. Defensively, for the Los Angeles Raiders, and a tough defense it is again this year. The Raiders 2-2 coming in. When they're in the 3-4, it's Piquel on the nose with Alzado, the 15-year veteran, and Howie Long, everyone's all-pro at the end position. Rod Martin, the best of that linebacking core, with the rookie McKenzie, Matt Millen, and Brad Van Pelt. At the corners, H2O they call themselves, 2 H's, Hayes and Haynes, and they try to keep you to 0 in receptions. McElroy at safety along with Mike Davis.
That 0 disappeared in a hurry today, Dick.
On third down and 8, Kenny from the shotgun looking for a touchdown. He's got it. No! Knocked away from Wold Arnold on the vicious hit. James Davis, or it's Stephon Page that is hurt. Page had the ball, and a wicked hit by McElroy denied the touchdown to the Raiders.
Defensive backs try to time that hit so they can strip that football. But what a perfect pass from Kenny. Just has that ball hanging there. Page going underneath it right here. Look at the hit. Just went right into the football. Helmet into the football and popped that football loose. They're lucky he hadn't taken another step, or that would have been a fumble.
Right, he only got 1 foot down. It would have been a touchdown had he gotten both steps down. Kenny to hold for Lowry. It'll be a 36-yard attempt. Lowry, who is deadly, hooks that one through the uprights, and the Chiefs have the lead. We welcome those of you who have watched the Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots in a delightful first half of our doubleheader. 24-20, the Browns and Bernie Kosar beating New England. Here we're just underway. 9 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Chiefs on their first possession driving from their 20 inside the Raider 20 and settling for a 36-yard field goal by Nick Lowry, who is now 10 for 11 this year. Another final, Green Bay beating the Lions 43-10. Big win for the Packers. Mark Wilson, quarterback for the Raiders, last week in the third quarter suffering an ankle injury and was somewhat of suspect if he would even start this week.
Running on his own, was not hit, just tried to cut too quickly. His leg just turned over, it's rolled over on that ankle. Badly swollen. He's made improvement all week long, and he is on the field. You see the pain there, and that ankle was swollen enough that they were very concerned about it. But he's waiting on the sideline to go in. So far has been able to handle responsibilities without a problem today.
Well, Tom Flores told us yesterday he didn't even see his ankle because of the swelling till Thursday. It's been a remarkable comeback. This is Sammy Seal returning for the Raiders at the 20. He's at the 30, and he's tripped up at the 38-yard line. Ken Jolly, for the second time, makes the tackle on the kickoff. Let's go to Bob Costas.
All right, Dick, a sweet moment in Toronto. Pinch hitter Jeff Burrows swings and misses. It completes a 4-hit shutout for Phil Niekro. It's career win number 300, and at age 46, he's the oldest man ever to pitch a shutout. Back to Dick Enberg.
All right, Bob Costas, congratulations to Niekro. What a sensational baseball year this was. Niekro gets 300. Tom Seaver, his 300th win. Rod Carew, 3,000. And, of course, the Pete Rose story. NBC will be following the playoffs starting Tuesday night. And following Mark Wilson is Mike Bell as the Chiefs record their second sack. Art Still got one on the first possession for Los Angeles.
That's Mike Bell's first sack of the year. Wilson has a bad problem, in my estimation, in that he lacks awareness, especially from the backside. A lot of quarterbacks just seem to have a feeling for what's coming from the backside. They can step up into the pocket. Bell all over Wilson, and Wilson almost helpless in that situation. That's something he has not been able to learn in the pro league, is how to move in that pocket.
So he comes to the line of scrimmage, second and long, trailing 3-0. They give to Marcus Allen, and he again draws a crowd, and he's down for a loss at the 28-yard line. Greg Hill, number 23, an extra defensive back coming up to make the hit.
And with Wilson having his problems today, you can believe that Marcus Allen becomes even more important. We're liable to see him running the ball more and perhaps even throwing the ball today.
Wilson ducks his head into the huddle. Late game just starting. Cincinnati quickly up in front of the New York Jets at home, 7-0 at Riverfront Stadium. 3rd down and 20. The Raiders do not use the shotgun. Flores never has. Good protection on the sidelines to Allen, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 43-yard line. That'll be short by about 3 yards of a first down. Albert Lewis from Grambling made the tackle, and what a story. Eddie Robinson, our congratulations to that outstanding leader of young men at Grambling for 44 years, and Albert Lewis, one of his many products, makes the hit. That was a most interesting and I thought warm interview on NFL 85. We hope you had a chance to see that as Eddie Robinson was featured. Wasn't that Bear Bryant's picture in the background? It looked like it as they talked to Robinson in his office. The kick by Guy to Garcia Lane, and he's down at the 22-yard line. Strahan, the rookie from Boston College, makes the tackle. Deron Cherry, what a week. He had a season last week. 4 interceptions against the Seattle Seahawks, tying. He becomes the 16th man in NFL history to pick off 4 in a game. And there's one, a kind bounce to Cherry, who is just one of those remarkable stories. Came to the Chiefs as a punter, a summer camp punter. They had no intent of his ever being really around, much less a Pro Bowler at safety. Herman Hurd. And he has to fight for about 3. Van McElroy leading the charge. McElroy, who was saved a touchdown for those of you just joining us late. Stephon Page had the ball in the end zone for a moment, and then there was McElroy, 26, to pound him hard and knock the ball away, and the Chiefs had to settle for a field goal.
Dick, just as a final add to Deron Cherry's story, I talked to him this morning. He said he actually had his hands on 9 balls in that game. In other words, a chance to pick off that many. That's remarkable. That is almost a season for a lot of defensive backs.
Leading 3-0. 2nd down and 7. Kansas City at their own 25 and an offside. Bruce King will go through with the play, and then we'll see whether or not the Raiders were drawn offside. Gene Barth.
Encroachment, 71 defense. He made contact before the snap. It's an automatic 5-yard penalty.
Bill Pickell on the nose gets the 5-yard call, and that'll make it fairly easy for Kenny. It'll be 2nd down and a short 2.
As we're looking at Pickell, I think he's typical of what we're seeing more and more of in the NFL. That tall nose tackle. For many years, it was a Curly Culp contest. Get that guy who was 5'10" and 290 pounds. But more and more now, we're seeing tackles that look more like the standard tackles out of the 4-3, 6'4", 6'5", big, strong tackles like Pickell and Bill Moss, who are both playing nose tackle in this game.
Pickell, 6'5" and 260 from Rutgers. On 2nd and 2, Hurd. Alzado, great play by the veteran. 15 years in the league. Fought off the blockers and drags down Hurd for a loss of 4.
Bill Pickell, we just talked about him playing on the nose. Tremendous pursuit. Watch him right on the inside. He's coming outside of 53, Bob Rush. Straight along the line, working the angle. Gets right in there to get a piece of that tackle. Excellent pursuit. Here he is in solo performance. You see him brushing off the block by the guard, getting away from the reach block by 53, the center, Rush, and getting out there to be in the road of Herman Hurd. That's good play from the nose.
So from 2nd and 2, the Chiefs look at 3rd and 6. Kenny from the shotgun. A Quickie and complete to Henry Marshall, and a first down, and almost much more out of bounds at the 40-yard line with a first down. 14 yards more for Marshall, who had a 38-yard reception on Kansas City's first possession.
Tremendous pressure inside that time. Piquel lining up on the center, and Howie Long had slipped over to the right tackle and was powering Brad Budde. Look at Long on the right side of your screen. Now watch him just blow by Budde. Goes inside and then outside and throws Budde to the ground. Just tremendous strength and quickness from Howie Long. That's why we talk about him in glowing terms right there.
Now Kansas City and all the rest of the teams trying to block him talk in the same superlatives. Bruce King's first carry, and the fullback for the Chiefs out to the 45-yard line, close to 5, and Lyle Alzado on the tackle again. Lyle Alzado. Well, there's Piquel, but Alzado 77. Last week had his first touchdown after 15 years. I said, when was the last time? He said, well, I took the bus from New York out to South Dakota to Yankton as a fullback, and that was the last time in Yankton, South Dakota, that I was in the end zone. By the way, it was a Greyhound bus, and Yankton's nickname is the Greyhound, the Yankton Greyhound.
Well, Alzado's still as crazy as he was then, I can tell you that.
No one else wanted him, he said. 2nd and 5. This is Jeff Smith into the secondary, and a first down at the Raider 45-yard line. Out of Nebraska, Smith with a good gain before Mike Davis could pull him down.
One of the things the Raiders have done well is to stop the rushing game this year. They're 3rd in the league, but they don't get Smith stopped here as he just bursts through a nice hole on the right-hand side and gets down for that first down. This young group of running backs, they really feel have great potential. They're giving them a chance to come along slowly.
First down at the Raider 45, leading 3-0 with just under 4 minutes remaining first quarter. Kenny will throw on first down. No one open. Jeff Smith covered well by Reggie McKenzie in the flat. Let's go down all the scores on this NFL Sunday, Week 5. And the cooling devices along the sidelines for the Chiefs. Miami beating Pittsburgh by 4 at home. And the same score, Cleveland over New England at home. San Francisco pounding on Atlanta 38-17 in the 4th. Chicago rallied at Tampa Bay to win 27-19. The Bears are 5-0. Green Bay pounds Detroit 43-10. Indianapolis a big winner over Buffalo, spoiling Hank Buller's debut as head coach of the Bills. 2nd and 10. King trapped in the backfield, breaks loose and fights for 4 down to the Raider 41. It'll be 3rd and 6 for Kansas City. We welcome those of you who have seen Indianapolis win its 2nd game of the year. The Colts 49-17 over Buffalo. Here in Los Angeles, the Chiefs, the leaders in the tough AFC West, have an early 3-0 lead and the ball. 3rd down and 5 at the Los Angeles 40-yard line. Other scores: New Orleans edge Philadelphia 23-21. A big day for the home teams throughout the NFL, at least from the early results. All the home teams winning. Tom Flores, quarterback, of course, the Raiders, and for 2 years was the backup to Lenny Dawson with the Kansas City Chiefs. On 2nd and 5, Kenny extricates himself, only to be dropped for a loss anyway at the 42-yard line. Bill Piquel credited with a sack.
One of the things that is so frightening about Howie Long, number 75, and he's just behind those 2 players. Look how quick he's off the ball inside of Dave Lutz. He overruns Kenny. Kenny's stepping up, or he would have been sacked, but he forces the sack. Now that's the kind of play that Long will not get credit for, but he forced the sack.
Didn't he? I mean, 3 men appeared to have a shot at blocking him.
Well, I tell you, they're putting a lot of horses on Howie Long, and the Raiders will move him up and down the line of scrimmage. You never know where he's going to play.
3rd down and a long 6.
Right now he's over on the left guard.
3 wide receivers in for Kansas City. Shotgun out of the backfield to Bruce King. Rod Martin with a terrific open field tackle to drop King, and that was all that the Raiders had on that side of the field in the flat, or King would have had a first down. He stopped 2 yards short, and let's see if they'll try the long field goal with Lowry. We have an injured Chief on the play.
That's Dave Lutz on the field. Lutz missed all of last year with a knee injury. Of course, we're not going to speculate on what he has here.
Holding the left ankle. Jim Arnold, the punter, by the way, is on the field. So apparently John Makovic has decided to go not for the long field goal. And we have a timeout. 3-0 Kansas City. Welcome back to the Coliseum. They're still attending to Dave Lutz, the starting right tackle for the Chiefs. Well, you fans in Kansas City and fans of the Royals throughout the country, congratulations on your successful capturing of the American League Western pennant. And of course, we remind all of you that NBC starts coverage of the American and National League Championship Series on Tuesday night. Will be in Toronto as the Kansas City Royals open against the Toronto Blue Jays. And certainly congratulations to the Blue Jays as well, as they bring the first American League playoff to Canada. And so many times through the years, Merlin, we've heard from the fans and what great fans they are north of the border, and we're pleased for all of those who have cheered for the Toronto Blue Jays.
It's exciting, and there's some excitement, I'm sure, in Kansas City as Lutz walks off the field instead of being carried. That's good news. John Alt will take his place later on, I believe.
Arnold, the NFL's #1 punter last year, nearly a 45-yard average. Fulton Walker, newly acquired ex-Dolphin, is back at the 10. Floats it toward the goal line, and that's a little too long. So the Raiders on the touchback will start from the 20-yard line with 1:42 remaining in the first quarter here in Los Angeles, and the visitors from Kansas City leading 3-0. When the schedule makers defined the 1985 year, Kansas City and the Raiders, along with Atlanta, knew they had the toughest opponents based on win-loss percentage last year. Part of that due to the fact that their NFC games involved the 49ers and the Rams. Fumble, or was it not? No, it looked for a moment the ball was free, but Marcus Allen trying to spin his way from 4 tacklers is down. No gain. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Dick, Wesley Walker's first catch of the season has set up a jet touchdown in Cincinnati, a 38-yard grab on a fine one. Moments later, Tony Page scored to tie it at 7. They're in the second quarter, and Dick, we'll see you Tuesday night in Toronto.
All right, Robert, I understand it'd be wise to bring along the thermals. And maybe you guys could take another look at that Robinson interview. Was that Bear Bryant portrait on the wall behind Robinson in his office?
Yes, it was, Dick. Personally inscribed photo from Bear Bryant, who was a close friend of Eddie Robinson.
Ken Jolly with a tackle.
Dick, we'd mentioned that we're seeing signals coming from the Raider sideline into quarterback Mark Wilson. Traditionally, Raider quarterbacks have called all their own plays.
Flip,
I think in part because they were preparing to deliver the plays to Rusty Hilger. They've been calling them from the sideline. There's Dan Daniel. He coaches the linebackers. He'll deliver the defensive signals into Gary Spaney, who will then call them for the defense. So those are the decision makers, the generals on the sideline.
Wilson, 3rd and 5. Final seconds, first quarter. Almost a 10-man line for the Chiefs.
29, 80.
They're coming with everything. Jesse Hester, the #1 draft pick from Florida State, 1-on-1 against Kevin Ross.
The Raiders have been sacked twice in the game so far. To try and protect their quarterback, they even allowed Christensen to block there. The tight end was blocking on that linebacker on that last play, trying to keep some heat off Mark Wilson. Wilson, as we mentioned, suffering with an ankle injury, not as mobile as he would ordinarily be. Maybe go back and take a peek at it. Watch him on his setup here. You can watch that right ankle. It's a short set, but boy, he gets all the heat he can bear. Bill Moss, the nose tackle, cracking that pocket from the center. He's playing outstanding football this year.
That's a good illustration that he is favoring that ankle. Guy's kick, driving toward rookie Garcia Lane. Lane at the 25 and toppled at the 29-yard line by Jeff Barnes, and a flag is down. 56 Barnes from California. We'll see whether or not the Chiefs were guilty of a foul. We'll have that information for you. That's the end of the first quarter. 3-0 Kansas City.
Number 55 during the run back.
Gene Barth, in many ways, we only feature these men when they're calling a penalty, and they all are significant individuals within their community and giving back to society, and should be congratulated for their fine work away from the field. We only know them as the Zebras. There are the first quarter statistics, Merlin Olsen.
Rushing yardage impressive for the Chiefs in the first quarter, and as we mentioned, that is something they have not done well this year. They lead in yardage, they lead on the scoreboard by 3-0. Time of possession very nearly even so far, but two things that we have noticed: the Raiders having trouble protecting their quarterbacks. 2 big sacks for the Chiefs defense. See how Bill Kenny and the offense can do now against that tough Raider defense.
3-0 as we open the second quarter, and Hurd hit in the backfield by Howie Long. All-Pro number 75, Howie Long.
Well, it all starts down there on the line of scrimmage, down in the pits. And there's a tremendous surge on this play. Great quickness from the inside by Howie. Look how quickly he is into the secondary or into that backfield. He missed the tackle. That'll make him mad. But he altered the route of Herman Hurd and then allowed Herman to just be picked up and squashed by Alzado and Rod Martin from the right side of that Raider defense.
Second down and 9. Tight end Willie Scott in motion. Kenny hit that. Howie's there again. 2 sacks aside.
Howie Long is powering over the top of number 66, Brad Buddy. Right in the middle of your screen. They've isolated him on Buddy by bringing linemen on each side of him. And then Buddy just unable to halt the powerful charge of Howie Long. And Howie just disposes of that quarterback. Ouch. That hurts.
Long 4 sacks this season, but he has created so many others. Raiders came into the game with 19. Third and a lot. Bruce King getting back out to the 15-yard line, far short of the first down. Lyle Alzado makes the tackle, and on comes Jim Arnold and the Kansas City punting unit.
You might say, why are they running the football in a situation like that? John Makovic, playing percentage football, realized the chance of getting a first down was very slim. He wanted some breathing room for his punter. He wanted a little better field position for his defense. He ran the football.
Fulton Walker, who had a great afternoon in New England, his first game as a Raider last Sunday, stands at the Los Angeles 40. Arnold's second punt of the afternoon is a short kick. Walker will have to let it bounce, and it takes a Raider bounce out of bounds at the 45-yard line in Kansas City territory. A 30-yard punt by Arnold here in Los Angeles. With Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg, welcome back to Los Angeles, the Coliseum, of course, the 1984 Olympic site, and NBC is proud and pleased that we will have that challenge, that opportunity to bring you the 1988 games from Seoul, Korea, that announced earlier this week. There, the Olympic torch, the pedestal for the flames that fired up so much enthusiasm here in this country in '84. That shot of Rayford Johnson going up the steps to light the torch. One of the memories we'll long remember. Mark Wilson, starting from the Chiefs 45, goes for the big one and is caught at the 20. Jesse Hester, did he pick that one off the grass? The Chiefs are arguing he did not, but it is ruled a catch and good for 25 yards.
Right through the hands of one of the defensive backs, and that's just pure reaction. Hester was on the ground, just kind of rolled over and caught that football. Hester showing some good response there, but that's the kind of play, well, that falls in the category of luck, which is also a part of this game.
First time that the Raiders have been in Chiefs territory. Their first 3 possessions, they stayed on their half of the field, but the short punt set them up at the 45. Wilson will kick that. Marcus Allen cut down by Otis McKinney, the former Raider. Do you think he might have learned something, brought something into that defensive package?
Using him very aggressively on that play. He just knifed in from his safety position. And he's playing because of an injury to Lloyd Burris, who's an outstanding safety in his own right. McKinney, I'm sure, loving this opportunity to go up against his old teammates. I think there's something special for an athlete who's been traded away to be able to come back and make that kind of impact play, Dick.
Actually, he was cut free by the Raiders. He was picked up on waivers, which he thought was a little embarrassing. He thought he'd at least be able to be traded. Jim Smith, the ex-Steeler, has a first and goal at the Kansas City 9. Smith's first catch of the game.
Smith only had one other catch coming into this game, and they're going to have to start using him more. You'll see this one coming right into your lap. Maybe you can reach out and catch it. Jim Smith coming in from the left side of your picture right here. Found some room to work against Kevin Ross, number 31, and 29, Albert Lewis. Good play. Got him inside the 10-yard line.
Meanwhile, an injury to one of the Raiders, and we'll check on that development when we return.
Who has taken the intimidation out of VCR programming?
Give me that.
RCA, with the first remote programmable VCR.
Bird brain.
You record exactly what you want, when you want.
Mickey Marvin, the injured Raider, the guard, and it appeared to be a knee. Marcus Allen stopped at the 6-yard line on first and goal from the 9. So second down, Raiders, as they have a chance to take the lead. 3-0 Kansas City here in the second quarter.
No, that's not good news for this Raider team. They've had some problems with their offensive line anyway. Right now, they've had to take Don Mospar, who started at an offensive center position, and move him to right guard in place of Mickey Marvin. There you see Mospar, and that's 50 Dave Dalby, who has been injured. He's got a turf toe, badly injured toe, forced in there. They didn't want to have to play him today, Dick.
The veteran Dalby at center is 194th consecutive game. Wilson looking for 6. He's got it. A touchdown goes to Jim Smith. His first as a Raider. And we've got a little extra fisticuffs down at the 10-yard line.
These teams do not like each other. That's a feeling that has sustained itself for many, many years. See Jim Smith there. The reason they wanted Smith so badly is because they lacked experience, in particular, in pushing that ball into the end zone. They felt the young receivers were having trouble getting it in there. This man knows where the end zone is, if anyone does. You see him taking advantage of it there.
Smith, who has had some great years, and certainly in the USFL, caught 20 touchdown passes this last year. So that's his 21st touchdown of 1985, 20 in the USFL, and his first now with the Raiders, 6 yards for 6. Extra point try by Chris Barr. And it's through. So the Raiders go 45 yards in 5 plays after the short punt and take the lead 7-3.
Watching is believing. Look into the mirror and watch Ford Escort swept away by the benefits of Renault. Shoppers who compared found Renault Encore's power and pickup superior. More room inside. They preferred Encore's European style. Upon reflection, 79 of 100 shoppers surveyed found Renault superior overall to Escort, with 550 plus America's best small car protection. Escort owners,
You weren't watching.
I was watching.
The one to watch.
Renault.
Patience. That's what struck me the most learning about Coors beer. From the malting to the brewing, aging, the whole process. They never hurry. It takes about twice as long to make Coors as it does any other major beer. Yeah, they do take their time. But you can taste the difference right here. A beer that's a little less heavy, never bitter, but with all the spirit and patience of a great beer. Coors is the one.
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. The technology behind it gives this driver engine protection he can depend on. And this driver. And this driver. And this driver. Mobil synthetic oil technology. There's no finer engine protection on Earth or anywhere else.
From Los Angeles, today's game is brought to you by Renault. European technology built in America. Make Renault the one to watch. By Liberty Mutual. America believes in Liberty Mutual for all its auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. And by Mobil One Synthetic Motor Oil. There's no better engine protection under the sun. Crowd of some 60,000 here in Los Angeles have seen the Raiders take the lead 7-3, and now Chris Barr with the kickoff. Anthony Hancock and Jeff Smith at the other end. It is Smith, the former Cornhusker, the rookie, at the 15. Right up the middle he goes to the 25. Tripped up by Stacy Toran. We go back to the touchdown, Merlin.
Chance to watch Mark Wilson, and he had Smith all the way on that play, waiting for him to clear away from the cornerback and then throwing to him right in front of Calvin Daniels, the linebacker. There he is. I don't blame him for smiling. His first touchdown after returning to the NFL. Of course, for many years, a great wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Smith is a little bigger, 6'2", and that's bigger than the other receivers. And you saw how he used his body to shield the ball from the defender. Kenny, fine catch by Stephon Page on the far side. Page from Fresno State. As you see, John Makovic, he calls in the offensive signals.
He calls the plays, and he scripts a lot of them. Keeps his, you see him right here. He's got his pad of paper in front of him, and he'll list his plays by down and distance, by position. Now, the man who's matching with him on the other sideline, Bob Zeman. Zeman, who will be calling the defenses for this black-shirted Raider defense.
Ooh, stacked up short of the first down as Bill Packel nails Herman Hurd. Jim Plunkett along the sidelines, a veteran for the Raiders, now 37 years of age, the graying temples. As we said earlier, he has really gone through so much turmoil physically. 3 knee operations, his 5th shoulder operation, 2 neck operations for benign tumors. That was back in his days at Stanford, and he still feels he'll be back again this year. Watching Mark Wilson, and we might even see Rusty Hilger before the afternoon's out, depending on Wilson's health. 3rd and short. Rod Martin with a 3rd Raiders sack, as Martin in from his linebacking position to deny Kenny.
This Raider defense does not blitz a high percentage of the time, in particular out on the field, but watch from the right-hand side of your screen. Number 53, Kenny felt him coming. Lucky he did, able to get down and avoid the shoulder pads and helmet of Rod Martin, who was just flying.
Jim Arnold to punt. His last kick was worth only 30 yards and set up the Raiders at the Kansas City 45, from whence they scored the only touchdown of this game. Fulton Walker deep for the Raiders at the 31. This is a fine kick. Walker at the 30. And down at the 33-yard line. So Fulton Walker, who averaged some 15 yards of punt return last week in 7 tries, gets only 3 on that one.
Around here people seem to say it all without saying a word.
There are still places where you can shake a man's hand, buy him a Miller, and you've got yourself a deal.
Miller's made the American way, born and brewed in the USA, just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Miller Beer, purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
Watching is believing. Watch Toyota Corolla reshaped by the benefits of Renault. Watch Renault Alliance's larger trunk burst through. Add more room. A longer wheelbase. Fuel injection under the hood. In fact, 76 of 100 shoppers surveyed chose Alliance superior overall to Corolla. European technology with 550 Plus, America's best small car protection. 2-door starts at $58.95. Toyota owners.
You aren't watching the one to watch.
Renault.
The enemy, potholes. When pavement cracks, it can tear your tires to shreds. Now consider Vector, Goodyear's unique all-season radial. Its crisscross tread has a backbone of belted steel to help repel road hazards and deliver thousands of miles of sure-footed performance. The Goodyear Vector. It simply performs like no other tire in the world.
A
Azuma Nelson, a physical powerhouse who explodes inside the ring. He is driven by an unyielding will to win. The champ unleashes a relentless flow of punches from bell to bell. Azuma Nelson battles Pat Cowdell, the WBC Featherweight Championship, live on NBC Sports World.
Raiders with the ball at the 32. You see Kansas City on natural turf 1-8 under John Malkovich. Well, they played well on their home surface, which is the artificial turf. Marcus Allen right into Art Still and company after a gain of a couple.
Maybe we can get that stat back up. It's rather interesting in a way. Your first inclination when you look at that statistic that shows that this team has not played well on a natural grass surface is to say, well, maybe they just have a game that is not conducive to playing on that kind of turf. But in actuality, they have to play head-to-head with their opponents in this division. Denver and the Raiders and San Diego, all tough teams. And one of those losses came to Washington. Two of those losses to Miami. So those are not slouch teams, Dick.
Going deep and open is Doki Williams. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, at the 38-yard line of Kansas City. 27 yards for Williams. He's been their big play man.
Doki Williams right at the bottom of your screen. Watch him here. He's challenging down the sideline. That's number 29, Albert Lewis, that he's going to work against. You just give him a little wrinkle right in here and then blows straight up the field. We lose him on that angle, but we catch him here, and look at those feet. Down with two. Boy, what a tightrope back that was.
First down at the 38. Allen has a big hole for the first time and down to the 31-yard line. That's Marcus Allen's longest gain of the afternoon, 7 yards. Scott Radisick, 97 from Penn State, made the tackle.
Word up from the dressing room that Mickey Marvin has an injury to his left knee and will not be back into the game. And Dick, as you watch that play, it's a reminder of how a successful passing game opens up the running game and how a successful running game opens up the passing game. When you have things going, the options are all yours.
Now Wilson, almost a free down, 2nd and 3, gives to Allen, breaks 2 tackles and actually squirts forward for a first down. They had him for no gain, but Allen would not be stopped until Gary Spaney dropped him after a 5-yard effort, and that was a solo job by Marcus.
One of the things that always impresses me about great running backs is their ability to make yardage after they've been contacted by the defense. Looked like Marcus was stopped, but he simply shifted his body, squirmed a little bit, used his strength to pick up that first down.
18 yards moves him over 300 yards rushing for this 85 season. He gets the call again. Caught from the backside, a penalty flag down is Mike Bell, 99. Ma Bell's boy, and she's watching in Wichita there on Cherry Street. Her son Mike, with brother Mark, of course, played in Seattle and the Colts.
Dave Dalby signaled for a holding call, and I'm sure in part because of that injured toe. He's playing hurt out there, and sometimes you've got an assignment then to reach out and hook someone. Very difficult when you can't drive off of a sore toe. I mean a real sore toe. It's been black and blue and causing him pain for a couple of weeks now. That puts him in a bad situation. Used his hands, got caught in the process.
Now Dalby, 50, leading the team out of the huddle, playing in his 194th consecutive game. That's the longest string in the NFL currently. Hawkins and Allen behind Wilson. 1st and 20. Ooh, Calvin Daniels ripping into the receiver as Doki Williams paid the price. And the pass goes incomplete.
Well, you find out a lot of things about these receivers when they get that football with their backs to the defense, and one is how courageous they are. Doki Williams taking that shot, and you know what? That ball was loose underneath. Well, let's watch the Kansas City defense working hard to keep Christensen on the line of scrimmage. Good job on that last play by Greg Hill, number 21.
So on the incomplete,
Otis McKinney, actually 21, excuse me.
On the incomplete pass, it's 2nd down and 20. Flags all over the field as Wilson drills complete. It's Williams again. Kevin Ross wraps him up at the 24-yard line. Let's see about the penalty. Barth threw one.
Illegal motion, number 32 offense, 5-yard penalty. We'll replay the down.
It appeared that Marcus Allen might have been going upfield before the snap was made. So they'll take that penalty and deny the 12-yard gain. There you see Tom Flores sending in the play. Rusty Hilger, number 12. If something should happen to Mark Wilson, Hilger, the rookie from Oklahoma State, would replace him. Flores highly successful, as has been the case of men that have run the ship here with the Raiders or in Oakland. Johnny Rauch, Al Davis, John Madden, and now Tom Flores. 2nd and 25. Frank Hawkins, the big fullback, gets to the 35 of Kansas City before Deron Cherry can make the tackle. Assisted by number 90 Bob Ham.
We most often talk about these defensive backs and their role of pass defense. Safeties also have to force. Look at number 20 Cherry coming right up. He's got to come up and control the run from the outside in. He's working against a very strong back there in Frank Hawkins, number 27. Hawkins able to get a little bit of yardage, but in a long yardage situation, the Kansas City defense willing to give up a few yards to get the down.
Picked up 9. It's 3rd and 19. Trying to get at least in reasonable field goal range. Wilson, oh, he's going for it all to Todd Christensen. He was open. I told you earlier, one of the problems with that bad ankle, throwing off the right foot, is you can't plant and drive like a baseball pitcher, unable to get that body down into the throw, and you tend to throw it high.
Let's see how Todd Christensen got open on that play. Todd does not have great speed, but knows how to work the defense. Look at that, got plenty of room, but that ball dropping well out of range. Watch the setup here by Mark Wilson. A little tender on that foot, not really favoring it tremendously, but again, can't drive to get that power. Now, Mark does tend to throw the ball a little higher than a lot of quarterbacks anyway, but I don't think he meant to get it that high.
4 minutes, 41 seconds left in the first half. His guy aiming for that coffin corner on the far side, and it looks as if it's a good one. 6-yard line.
And how well he does that. 6 out of 10 last week inside the 10, and he has kicked well today.
Statistically, age is only the frosting. The real cake is experience, and that's where the Raiders' average man has been in the league 6 years, under 4 for Kansas City, one of the younger teams in terms of experience in the league. Kenny gives to one of those inexperienced backs, and Bruce King is dragged down for a loss at the 4-yard line, fumbles, but the ball was dead. His knee was down. Swarming defense by the Raiders. McElroy and Turan leading the charge.
Raiders would like to have done what they did last week. They got 3 touchdowns last week on defense. Almost unheard of. Watch those black shirts swarm to the football. Looked like King was going to get away there, but there was always another black-shirted body. McElroy, the man that had him first, they ruled that that ball was down before it popped loose.
3:55 left in the half. Kansas City deep in its own end, trailing 7-3. And Kenny looking at 2nd and 12 from his 4. Jeff Smith slashing out to the 8-yard line. Smith 5'9" and 201 from Nebraska. Let's check the scores. 24-20 Miami beats Pittsburgh. At home it was Cleveland over New England by the same score. 38-17, the 49ers are now 3-2. Atlanta 0-5. The Bears rally to win at Tampa Bay 27-19. 43-10, Green Bay surprises Detroit big. 49-17, Indianapolis over the Bills. The Bills still 0-5. New Orleans is now 3-2 with that 2-point win against Philadelphia. Seattle on a couple of field goals leads the Chargers up north. Cincinnati has a 13-7 lead over the Jets. That's Stephon Page in motion on 3rd down and 8 for Kenny. He's got the first down as he drills it to Walt Arnold, the tight end. 9-yard pickup for Kenny. So the Bengals leading the Jets 13-7 prior to halftime. Denver at home leads Houston 10-0. And one other score. The Rams have a field goal advantage over in Anaheim, 3-0 against the Vikings in Bud Grant. NFL 85 will have all the scores, the key plays for you throughout this afternoon. As later tonight in New York, it'll be Dallas and the Giants. Big first down picked up by Kenny with 2:24 left. Dumps it out to Herman Hurd. And he's just across the 20 and twisted down at the 21-yard line.
Dick, I think I mentioned that when Lutz went out of the ball game, we might see John Alden there. Actually, it's Rich Baldinger that has been playing in that right tackle position for the Kansas City Chiefs. And, of course, matched up quite often now with Howie Long. I don't know. That's a time I wouldn't want him to call me, I think.
Call it unenviable.
In football.
You see John Auld, just the righty, a picture number 76 in the game at tackle for Matt Herkenoff, and Baldinger in for David Lutz. So both teams with key injuries in that offensive line in the first half. 2 minutes to go. First half here at the Coliseum at 7-3 Raiders. This is a 2nd and 7 call for Kenny, and Howie Long anticipating the count is into the white jerseyed offensive line.
Dick, let's go back to the center.
75 defense, 5-yard penalty. Still down.
Bob Rush is a right-handed quarterback, and you see his right hand on the ball. When the quarterback is in a T formation, he snaps it right-handed. However, when they go into a spread formation, he snaps the ball left-handed. The reason for that, here he is, and that's the way he would snap it in a spread formation. You see the left hand is down underneath the ball. Now, the reason is he's a left-handed center, but the quarterback is right-handed. He wants the strings up. That means in an ordinary T formation, he's going to snap it right-handed.
Rod Martin into the backfield, tossed down Herman Hurd like a rag doll. A flag is down. We'll see if Martin was too quick.
Martin saying he was drawn offsides, and the official agrees.
Yeah, the Raiders will decline that penalty and take the play by Martin, we would think, and cost the Chiefs the down.
Either way, the Kansas City Chiefs still have an excellent opportunity to convert.
53 offense, offside, penalty refused, 3rd down.
Well, they lose a couple of yards anyway, and the down, so it'll be 3rd down and 4.
Here's the play after the fact. You see Martin just streaking from the inside, getting the advantage of getting a movement there. And, of course, you're trained as a defensive player to move when you see any of that offensive line move or the ball move. So frequently that kind of a movement will give you an advantage. There's the spread formation for Kansas City.
You see Rush now with the right hand up. He'll snap it blindly left-handed. Give us to Bruce King, and boy, did not fool. 53, Rod Martin. A Pro Bowler makes back-to-back hits. Martin, 53, with a flag down.
Martin leads this team in tackles. He's had 36 coming into the game.
Holding, penalty refused, 4th down.
Here's number 53, Rod Martin. Small for a linebacker in the NFL, but look how quickly he reacts, comes up, fills that hole. You saw that little surge as he dropped his weight down and then just took that back to the ground. Excellent linebacking play.
So the good defense of the Raiders, and they'll have a chance to try to add to their 7-3 lead. We have 1:49 left in this half. Walker back at the 35 as Jim Arnold to punt. Very nearly. End over end to Walker at the 34. 45. And another scramble along the sidelines. Fulton Walker with an excellent return, and the Raiders in business, leading 7-3.
Dick, watch how much room Fulton Walker has. Now, there's not going to be any of the coverage team as they come down. They're going to come down, and he's got all kinds of room. They have out-kicked the coverage. Arnold kicked it a little too far. They don't have the kind of speed to get down there and contain him. They're lucky he didn't get away for an even bigger gain. And that's something that the special teams coach Steve Ortmeyer was very concerned about today, is their special teams taking advantage of the slowness of the coverage on both kickoffs and punts for Kansas City.
Apparently someone injured in that crowd of the Raiders. Louis Cooper was the man who made the tackle of Fulton Walker. There's 1:37 left in the half.
For the 71st anniversary, Isuzu holds big contest and give factory incentive. Just guess number of Japanese pea pods in jar.
Why is there only one pea pod in this jar?
Winner! Winner! Winner!
You mean this jar with the one pea pod?
Save hundreds of dollars at the Isuzu Factory Incentive Pea Pod Truck Sale.
The injured Raider was Greg Townsend, number 93, but he appeared to be all right. Now they're checking that rib cage along the sidelines, but he seemed to leave with no apparent serious injury. Jets lead Cincinnati 14-3. The Rams 6-0 over Minnesota in the second. Those are the other late games. NFL 85 coming up at halftime as Wilson and the Raiders try to add to their 7-3 lead. On the run, almost intercepted. It was intended for Dokie Williams, but a good charge from Albert Lewis, the left corner of the Chiefs.
Albert Lewis celebrating his 25th birthday today. Very tall for a defensive back and the fastest man on the squad. Just over a 4.3 and a timed 40. And that is bursting speed. A lot of times they will take him and put him man-to-man on the best receiver a team has and then zone the rest of the field. A very challenging responsibility for a defensive back.
Well, they called him Snow back at Grambling where he played his college ball because he could give you blanket coverage. From a crowd, Wilson, down he goes at the 48-yard line. 99, Mike Bell, his second sack today and the third for the Chiefs as a team.
Bell, of course, one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL, been very frustrated by the fact that he had not been able to get any sacks on the season. Well, he's making up for it here today.
Third Chiefs sack, 2 of those by Bell. The Raiders spend a timeout with 1:25 remaining in the half. They have one more timeout remaining. Ball at the 48 where it is 3rd down and 15. Well, we hope you'll be with us. NBC Sports Tuesday night. We begin our exclusive coverage, Major League Baseball's League Championship Series. It'll be Toronto hosting Kansas City from Ontario on Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And, of course, on Wednesday and Thursday night, we'll switch back out here to California. The Dodgers hosting the St. Louis Cardinals in games 1 and 2 of the National League Championship Series. But we'll have all the action for you, daytime, nighttime, American and National League right here on NBC Sports. What a year it was. The fact that it would come down to the second to the last day of the 162 game season. 3 of the 4 championships were decided yesterday.
You know what I liked about that, Dick, was that most of those teams had a chance to confront each other right at the end of the season. It's nice that you could have your really playoff hopes in your own hands.
That's right. St. Louis and the Mets and Toronto and the Yankees and Kansas City and the Angels all playing in that final week. Wilson dodging the pressure, finds Todd Christensen at the 35-yard line, shy of the first down. Christensen's 3rd catch, his 30th of the year, one of the leaders in the National Football League. And that'll bring up 4th and 2, and the final timeout is spent by the Raiders. Now this is for Wilson to decide, do we want to try what would be about a 52-yard field goal? That's really testing the range of Chris Barr. He has kicked one in his career of 55. Or do we want to go for it?
Let's watch here as Todd Christensen will go down and work all the way across the field. A long, long pass pattern. Is Christensen able to, well, you guys are going to have to draw that line away for me. It won't work on my machine. There it goes. Watch Christensen now, number 46, coming out on that pattern. Go all the way back across the field. Whoops, we had him come from the wrong place, Dick. That's embarrassing.
He got to the right place, though.
He got there all right.
Well, Christensen, it only figures that we didn't quite focus on him. He says he's going to write a book, and he's going to call it The Anonymous Strain, because nobody knows who he is, despite the fact that he's caught 200 passes, over 200 passes in the last 2 years plus this one.
Todd Christensen, again, without that blazing speed, but with a great gift for feeling the defense and knowing how to find the open spots, and then with great hands. In fact, made an incredible catch against these Chiefs earlier in the year that they're still talking about.
It's a big gamble because the Chiefs have all 3 timeouts. If they stop the Raiders, they have a chance.
Pass.
Wilson going for it, and he's got Christensen, 25, and out of bounds at the 22. So Tom Flores rolls the dice and comes up with a winner.
Christensen getting open on the right-hand side. Wilson standing tough in there, getting up plenty of time to throw. And there are the surest set of hands that he could locate. Christensen just tucked it away and gets out of bounds. Scott Radisek, number 97, pushing him out, but not until he picked up a big, big first down. Lots of time here.
The Raiders do not have any timeouts. but plenty of time from the 22. 7-3 Los Angeles. Wilson going for it all. Broken up by Kevin Ross as it was intended for Jesse Hester. Ross saved a touchdown.
Kevin Ross, the man who was covering, but Cherry is trying to help from his safety position. Watch him read the quarterback. Now he sees the throw. He's driving inside. He arrived too late. Kevin Ross almost too late. Just ducked in front of Jesse Hester and knocked that ball away. That's an excellent defensive play by the Kansas secondary.
58 seconds remaining before halftime. The Raiders lead 7-3. And on 2nd and 10, it's Wilson. Batted in the air and almost intercepted by one of the front men for the Chiefs. Art Still, maybe next to Too Tall Jones, Still has become the best fly swatter in the National Football League. He gets his hands on countless passes, and there is another case in point.
This Kansas City defense, just as their counterpart defense, the Raider defense, big plays last week against the Seattle Seahawks. 7 turnovers in that game to key that big victory. They'd love to get a turnover right here and stop this Raider threat.
3rd and 10. Jim Smith is in the game, the touchdown maker. Williams and Christensen both wide right, Smith to the left, and they give to Marcus Allen, and he's dropped at the 20. That quick hitter did not fool the Chiefs defense, and Tom Flores and the Raiders apparently will settle for the field goal. Much better position for Chris Barr, who has tried only 4 in the first 4 games. That's unusual in this era. It'll be either 37 or 38 yards depending on the spot.
Nick Lowry got 4 against the Raiders in 1/2 in that earlier game this year.
Had a total of 5 in that Kansas City win. They beat the Raiders 36-20 at Arrowhead.
Ooh, almost blocked.
It is good. 37 yards for Chris Barr. And the Raiders now lead by 7 with 13 seconds left in the half.
Gary Spaney, linebacker, burst inside from the right-hand side. You see him coming there, getting away from the blocker, threw himself out, but Barr quick enough in getting to that football. Had he been a little bit slower, that field goal would have been blocked, Dick.
Well, and the story for the Raiders in this first half basically has been on punt returns or the Kansas City punting game. Jim Arnold had a short punt, 30 yards, that started the Raiders at the Kansas City 45, and that's when they marched in 5 plays to score the game's only touchdown. And on this occasion, it was the 22-yard punt return by Fulton Walker that again set up the 3 points.
Well, I'd mentioned that I talked to Steve Wertmeyer, the special teams coach for the Raiders, and he really believed going into this game that the Raiders had a big advantage on the return teams because of the lack of speed in the coverage teams for Kansas City. He said, I believe that we're going to have a chance to return for good averages and give field position. And of course, field position has indeed been the key for the Raiders here in this, especially second quarter.
Barr line drives it low, and it's Jeff Smith for Kansas City. It is corralled at the 25-yard line, and that stops the clock with 8 seconds remaining before the intermission. We'll see if Bill Kenny goes for one desperate try.
Of course, this is a situation that John Makovic would love to have Carlos Carson. In fact, we'll keep an eye out there to see if they're going to use him. They were talking about the possibility if he felt well of maybe getting him in some of the 4 wide receiver situations, but I don't see him out there now.
Stephon Page has only 1 catch for short yardage, number 83, the replacement for Carson. See Arnold lining up on the left side, and the 3 wide receivers to the right.
Tight end.
Down the right side, jump ball, and almost caught by Henry Marshall, and Brad Van Pelt close for the Raiders. That is the end of the first half in Los Angeles. 7-10-3. The Raiders lead it.
They just go down. That ball is cast up high. They're hoping for a good ricochet, a good bounce. Number 89 right there. The ball is tapped up. Henry Marshall will fight it and go down. He had it momentarily, only to lose it. They might have been deep enough to give Lowry a chance at the field goal had he kept his hands on that football.
Nick Lowry, who kicked the 58-yarder against the Raiders back at Arrowhead Stadium. And I know you're one of the people, Merlin, who feels that Lowry or one of the other outstanding place kickers eventually, and maybe even this year, will set a new record. Tom Dempsey's 63-yard field goal record.
There's no question that we have kickers in the league, Dick, who can boot that football long enough to break the record. They're just not being given a chance today.
Well, it's because of the new rule change. Of course, you get the ball, the defense, wherever you miss, and so that is taken away some of those tries. We'll be back after these words from your local station. So we have that marked down, a PR against Bob Costas, premature ridicule of Pete Axelm. We're at halftime. The Raiders leading 10-3. The only touchdown, a 6-yard pass from Mark Wilson to Jim Smith. NFL 85 halftime activities continue in a moment. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Okay, Bob Costas back in New York. Of course, in the game you're watching, the Raiders, trying to avenge a defeat earlier this year at the hands of the Chiefs, lead 10-3 at the half at the Coliseum. In other games in progress, San Diego has just scored. Mark Herman, in relief of the injured Dan Fouts, he'll be out several weeks with that knee injury, has just thrown a touchdown pass to Wes Chandler, covering 3 yards. Chandler has better than 100 yards in receptions in the first half in Seattle, and so as they approach halftime, they lead the Seahawks there 7-6. The Jets and the Bengals have just gone to the third quarter. The Jets at 3-1 lead the 1-3 Bengals in Cincinnati 14-13. Denver is pulling out all the stops at home against Houston, coming up to halftime, leading it 17-3. They have twice used razzle-dazzle plays to set up scores. On one, Sammy Winder handed to Vance Johnson on an end around. Johnson brought it to the 1-yard line, and Winder scored from there. Then they used a triple reverse, which wound up with Elway throwing a touchdown pass to Steve Watson, and that made the score 17-3, which is where it stands right now. The Rams at halftime are in front of Minnesota 6-0 on a pair of Mike Lansford field goals in Anaheim. Eric Dickerson in the first half, 15 carries, 39 yards. Miami had to come from behind to beat Pittsburgh to take their record to 4-1. This was the game-winning touchdown, 47 seconds to play, and rookie Lorenzo Hampton, Miami's first-round draft choice, scores from the 2. That makes it 24-20. A Malone pass in desperation in the closing seconds was intercepted by Paul Langford, and the Dolphins come out with the win. Cleveland defeats New England by that same 24-20 score in Cleveland, and the key was a late goal line stand. The Patriots had first and goal at the 6 and were stopped 4 times. Here's the 4th down play. Mosi Tatupu is going nowhere, and Cleveland winds up a 24-20 winner. San Francisco wins big at Atlanta, 38-17, and what a day for Joe Montana. 5 touchdown passes, 429 yards through the air on 37 of 57. The Bears had a scare against Tampa Bay. They trailed 12-3 to the 0-4 Buccaneers at halftime, but eventually the Bears righted themselves and they take their record to 5-0. This is in the third quarter. Jim McMahon zipping a touchdown pass of 21 yards into Dennis McKinnon. The Bears win at 27-19. Walter Payton, 16 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. James Wilder was trying to become the 3rd man in NFL history to rush for over 100 yards in 7 consecutive games. He would have shared the record with O.J. Simpson and Earl Campbell in that department, but the Bears stopped him but good. 18 carries, just 29 yards. The Packers walloped Detroit. Green Bay is now 2-3. The Lions are 3-2. 43-10 is the score this afternoon. Indianapolis with a laugher over Buffalo, and the Colts are now 2-3. Buffalo 0-5. 49-17 the score in Hank Buller's unhappy debut as the head coach of Buffalo. And the Saints had a 20-0 lead against Philadelphia. Then they were threatened after Ron Jaworski took over for Randall Cunningham at quarterback and rallied the Eagles to within 23-21, but a Jaworski pass with a minute and a half to go was intercepted by Dave Wormer, his 3rd interception of the game, and that sewed it up for the Saints, 23-21. In baseball, one item of interest this afternoon in Toronto. Phil Niekro, his last chance this year for career win number 300, and he gets it. A heartwarming scene with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and Niekro leading on a 4-hitter, 8-0. Younger brother Joe Niekro, sent out by Billy Martin for some words of advice, smiles on the Yankee bench. Thus reassured, Phil Niekro is able to fan Jeff Burroughs to complete the game, career win number 300, and at age 46, he also becomes the oldest player in Major League history ever to pitch a shutout. So that gets you updated on the scores. Let's send you back out to the Coliseum, and we'll rejoin Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen.
Thank you, Bob. The Raiders taking the field, ready for the second half. Here come the Chiefs, 10-3, Los Angeles leading. At halftime, the Chiefs come into this game 3-1 atop the AFC West. One of the early surprises of 1985. 2 injuries we talked about at the start of the game, and you've been tracking that.
We certainly have, and it's proved decisive for both teams. Mark Wilson, who came in with an injured ankle, has certainly played well. He's thrown the ball well, although he's been sacked 3 times. His mobility has hurt him a little bit there. On the other side, Carlos Carson, the best receiver that Kansas City has not put a foot on the field yet. So that has hurt them. Although one thing we know about Kansas City, they have a very sophisticated passing offense. They have a good defense. They're not the kind of team that has a hard time playing catch-up football. They're very explosive.
Well, the trademark of this rivalry through the years has been intensity, a very tough, physical type of play, and that's the kind of half we've seen. And it was typified by a play made by Van McElroy, the Pro Bowl safety of the Los Angeles Raiders. This is a 4-point tackle. Stephon Page has the ball in the end zone. Boom. McElroy nails him. The ball pops free, and the Chiefs had to settle for a field goal.
Dick, they say it's a game of inches. That foot was perhaps that far off the ground. If he gets that second foot on the ground, doesn't matter what happens after that, it's a touchdown. The foot did not make it to the ground. The ball popped free. They were able to kick the field goal, but it's made a big difference in the game. One thing we have to remember, Kansas City gets the ball first here in this second half, and obviously they've been plotting a way to get 7 points on the board.
You had the feeling that John Mackovic played it close to the vest in this first half, that even though he's down by a touchdown, he knows his team can score 7 in a hurry. They scored, between the two of them, 56 points in their first meeting, 36-20 the final.
I think both teams playing better defense in this game. Certainly true of the Raiders. The Raiders defense has come on with a couple of big games since that game in Kansas City. And I'm sure that one of the things that Tom Flores is happiest about is the fact that their defense now is forcing people to make a lot of areas where it could be intercepted.
Now, Tom Flores also has noted that while he's lost Mickey Marvin, his guard, that the Chiefs have lost David Lutz and Matt Perkinoff, and since those 2 tackles went out of the game in the first half, Kansas City has only 1 first down. They get the ball to start the second half. Drifting back are Anthony Hancock and Jeff Smith as Chris Barr makes sure he's got all 10 compatriots aboard. And here we go. He hits this one deep to Smith, and the Chiefs will start at the 20. Now Bill Kenny brings the offense onto the field. Henry Marshall and Stephon Page for the injured Carlos Carson will be the wide receivers. Waldo Arnold the tight end. Check to see who's in there at tackle. 77, Rich Baldinger is one of the tackles. He's playing the right side for David Lutz. And John Olt, 76, is the left tackle for Matt Perkinoff. That's tough to lose both starting men at that key position. Both Marshall and Page to the left. And it's Bruce King right into the teeth of that black jersey defense, and Lyle Alzado with a bear hug tackle after a yard gain. First half statistics.
Take a look down. You'll find that first downs relatively even, yards rushing, and now most of those Chief yards came in the first quarter of the game. They did not do well rushing in the second quarter. Big Raider boost in the second quarter in the passing game. They end up on 126 yards. Of course, the biggest stat is the one that's on the scoreboard, where the Raiders have a comfortable lead of, well, not comfortable, but they do have the lead of 7 points.
No mistakes, no turnovers in that first half. Kenny. Oh, there's a push after and there's the flag. Indeed, Lester Hayes with a push on Carlos Carson. Well, that's interesting. John Mackovic does not use Carson in the first half, but Carlos in there at least on this sequence, and he got the interference or a defensive holding call as Hayes gave him a solid bump beyond the 5-yard line.
Illegal contact, 37 defense, 5-yard penalty.
Now that's a contact beyond the line of scrimmage. They'll just mark off a 5. Let's go back and look at the play. Look how closely Lester Hayes is guarding on Carlos Carson. We mentioned Carson coming off a knee injury, and I bet he went to John Mackovic and said, "Give me a chance to play." He's that kind of guy. Wants to get into the ball game. You see Lester going to his face. I think he knew he made an illegal contact there, but he's got his back to that football. That's kind of tough on those single up covers.
Automatic first down at the 26. Jeff Smith right into the arms of Howie Long. Oh, Long is such an outstanding player. And I know we repeat ourselves, but oh, what a force.
Here's a new face on the sideline in the striped shirt. Used to see him in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform, Jerry Robinson, and talked to him at the Raider camp yesterday. He said, boy, he said, I'm so excited I want to get out there and play. He said, I think they got me mixed up with a track guy, though. He said they'd had Jim Bush, who's the running coach. He's had me out there running the hills since I got here.
Of course, Jim Bush was the coach at UCLA when Robinson played his football over in Westwood. He played his college games on this Coliseum turf. 2nd and 9. Kenny, complete. Oh, does Page take a wallop? Stephon Page, who played at Fresno State, went unnoticed. No one drafted him because Henry Ellard was his teammate, the other wide receiver, and he was a number 2 pick of the Rams and known nationally.
A chance to watch Bill Kenny, a real pinpoint passer. Look how quickly he gets that ball off. Good release. You saw how Page had gotten himself open on that play. Let's look at the bump and run technique of Lester Hayes. He can touch that man for 5 yards. Boy, he crowds him and bumps him after that. But the officials' concentration by that time on the pass receiver and the first down.
Third and
not
short.
A first down, 3rd and short.
Bird trying to use his speed, but he does not get the first down. Rod Martin, one of the quicker linebackers in the NFL, was there to short tail him down across the 35-yard line.
Watch the quickness of number 53, Rod Martin. Gets upfield, and all he can get is a piece of jersey here. But what tremendous hand strength he has. Boy, he just almost stripped that jersey right off Herman Hurd.
And then Lyle Alzado sat on him. That was the
indignity.
Martin got him down, and Lyle said, I'm going to sit on you. Make sure you stay right here.
Boy, that's a big play. It looked like Hurd was going to break free and pick up that first down. Now Arnold is going to have to kick, and that has spelled bad news for Kansas City so far today.
Arnold hits a low end over end kick, and it's Walker at the 29, and can't get away from Albert Lewis. Good coverage by Lewis, streaking downfield, and as Merlin noted, one of the faster Chiefs, and he was there quick enough that time. Timeout, 12:30 left in the quarter. From the Coliseum, today's game is brought to you by America's best back trucks. At Dodge, we don't just talk tough, we prove it. By Stroh's and Stroh Light, the circle of sports beer. And by Goodyear, makers of the great performing all-season radial Vector. And we bounce along in this third quarter, 12:30 remaining in the period, and it's 10-3. The Raiders leading Kansas City. Raiders ball after the punt of 36 yards by Jim Arnold, who has not kicked for much distance today. And it's Mark Wilson at the controls at the 28-yard line. Marcus Allen. Ken Jolly, and a flag goes down. Jolly with an excellent tackle, number 52 in his second year, a pre-chiropractic major at Mid-American Nazarene in Olathe, Kansas, outside of Kansas City, holding against the Raiders. Jolly played against the likes of Bethany and Friends and Baker and Bethel.
Good job by 52 Jolly. I'm sorry, Dick, didn't mean to cut you off, but look how well he penetrated into the backfield. You see the push right there on the back of Albert Lewis. That's the one they called for an illegal block. But Jolly, of course, in there because of injuries earlier to Ken McAllister and Jeff Payne, both of those guys on injured reserve. And it figures that teams are going to challenge a linebacker who's in for 2 guys who are out. Simply that. He's played well and certainly done a good job here today.
Seattle challenged him last week, and he held his own. They take the penalty, 1st and 20. Allen hit in the backfield. Mike Bell, 99, was there just as Marcus got the handoff.
You try and get penetration on defense. You try and slash in there, break up the timing of the offense. Bell doing that expertly, forcing a big alteration in Marcus Allen's path. He had to turn himself right back into the bulk of the defense. And of course, didn't end up going anywhere. Second, an extremely long yardage here. Let's keep an eye on Mark Wilson. A lot of times, Dick, when you have an injury, in particular a leg injury, and you go in after a half of football and sit down in that locker room, an injury will stiffen up on you. Let's take a look at Mark and see if that ankle's all right. Well, I don't think that's what's bothering him here. He's walking well. He's coming to the sideline. He didn't like what he saw on the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs.
And the fans don't like it. They don't like to lose that timeout. Is it that long ago, Buckaroos, the Olsen era? He played in Kezar Stadium and Wrigley Stadium, baseball parks, Tiger Stadium, Cotton Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Dallas and New Orleans home, Yankee Stadium, and New York Metropolitan Stadium. I put that one last because that's where your season always ended.
You know how they built all those stadiums? It was the money they saved not paying guys like me, I'll tell you that.
Come on.
No, I enjoyed playing in a lot of those old stadiums. But I'll tell you, you could go get stuck in the mud at Kezar. You could walk ankle deep in the mud up there.
This is one of the few old granddaddy stadiums left, the Coliseum. Merlin's home stadium. Wide open is Jesse Hester, and the rookie has a first down out at the 41-yard line. That's a big 21-yard gain on 2nd and long.
Talking to some of these defensive backs for Kansas City, they were talking about the fact that Hester is learning how to use his speed. Has great speed, but now he's learning to utilize it, learning how to run those good patterns. Number 20, Deron Cherry there to corral him, but that's a fine gain, gives him a first down outside the 40.
You can see the pass by Wilson was not exactly a perfect spiral, but when you have a man that wide open, it doesn't matter. That's Hester in motion. Open is Dokie Williams, wide open. And Kevin Ross gets him at the 25. There's a breakdown in the coverage of the Chiefs there, 34-yard play.
Dick, let's look at the breakdown in that Kansas City secondary. Albert Lewis dropping back to a deep zone, and he's late on the break. He's the man that's got to come over and cover Dokie Williams. They're trying to cover him long and short. Kevin Ross, 31, the short man. Lewis was the deep man, but he couldn't get there in time. Big play. Here's that pass again. You can see it getting off quickly, and he's hit the seam. That's something Kansas City has done a lot of during the season.
And the Raiders have used that twice to Dokie Williams with Ross, the short man, and deep coverage from Lewis. Marcus Allen, he's inside the 10, and it's 1st and goal Raiders.
We've given you a chance to watch some of the secondary come up in their forced responsibilities. Albert Lewis on that play is trying to come up and get a hold of Marcus Allen once he realizes it's a run. Here he comes. But Dokie Williams takes on the role of blocker, keeps him away from that play. And you saw some of the cutting ability of number 32, Marcus Allen. They've got it inside the 10-yard line.
3 big plays in a row, 21 yards to Hester, 34 to Dokie, 16 to Allen. And it ends with that 1 or 2 yard gain as Bill Moss, the number 1 draft pick out of Pittsburgh a year ago, the nose tackle, makes a good clean hit.
Dick, if you look back through the Kansas City season so far, they've had 3 big outings offensively. They were shut out in Miami. In that ball game, their defense played very well in the first half. The score was 0-0, but had trouble controlling Miami in the second half. It would appear that the Raiders have gotten their offense cranked up, and that the Chiefs secondary not able to control them so far in the second half.
Dokie Williams right, Hester to the left. Wilson looking for 6 more. Almost intercepted, then almost caught, as Albert Lewis seemed to have a better shot at it than Dokie Williams.
Twice today, we've seen the ball go directly through the hands of a Kansas City back. Now, that could have been an interception. The big play earlier also went to Hester, Jesse Hester, but went right through the hands of one of the Kansas City secondary. That set up the first touchdown. 2 possible turnaround plays, turnovers that have been negated, and ended up being good plays for the Raiders.
John Makovic sends in 2 extra defensive backs looking for the pass on 3rd and goal from the 8. Greg Hill and Sherman Cockcroft are in. Jim Hill is wide to the left. Wilson. And it was Greg Hill bantering with Dokie Williams, and Williams felt that he had too many hands on him, as Hill, 23, made the play defensively, and the Raiders bring in the field goal team.
1-on-1, man-to-man. Dokie Williams turns his man all the way around. Greg Hill gets back outside, but that ball just thrown too far in front of Dokie Williams. Williams claiming he was interfered with. The official deciding that the contact was incidental on that play.
It will be a 25-yard attempt from the center of the field by Chris Barr. And he has it home. And with it, the Raiders take a 10-point lead with 8:44 remaining third quarter. Flores on the right. His team has now moved up 13-3, middle of the third quarter. And Chris Barr kicks it off. He lofts it toward Jeff Smith at the 5. Up the middle goes Smith and finds a crack. He's out to the 40, but a flag goes down back at the 22. Jeff Smith, a good return. Kenny King on the special teams. 33 made the tackle.
Jim Vecchiarello, the special teams coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, has to be pulling his hair
57
out.
holding during the run back from the spot of the foul.
Jerry Blanton guilty of the foul. Here are the standings, and what some feel are the toughest division in the NFL. Kansas City leading 3-1 with the Raiders, Denver, San Diego, and Seattle all at 2-2. Within the division, of course, that's the second tiebreaker, your record within the division. Kansas City off to a good 2-0 start, so a win today would really elevate them 3-0. And the Raiders, of course, trying to spoil the Chiefs' fun. After the penalty, Kansas City from its 17. And there's Howie Long jumping too soon. Count was 3. Long charged on 2.
Howie lined up over the young rookie guard.
75 defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Number 64, Bob Olderman. He was hanging in there, but I've got to believe when he sees Howie come out and line up over him. He said he had Howie several times in the earlier game. He said it's a little frightening. He's bigger than I am, he's faster than I am, and he's stronger than I am. He said it's kind of tough.
Those are bad odds. 1st and 5. Ethan Horton, the number 1 pick of the Chiefs from North Carolina, number 32 in the lineup for the first time. But the give is to Bruce King and another rookie. The 5 running backs, 4 are rookies, and then they have the second-year man, Herman Hurd. Seattle still leading San Diego 6-0, but we heard that San Diego had scored on a touchdown pass, so they would lead 7-6. Jets have a 17-13 lead against Cincinnati in the third at Riverfront. At half, the Broncos 2 touchdowns over Houston, and the Rams, trying to go 5-0, are leading 13-0 at Anaheim Stadium over the Vikings.
So that's on the warm weather field. We talked about finishing those Ram seasons in cold weather. Not as easy. Of course, you got that stadium back there now.
This is Ethan Horton, and he's into the secondary, and he's got more all the way to the 41 before Reggie McKenzie could haul him down with help from McElroy. 15 yards for Horton, and Horton had gained only 69 yards total in the first 4 games.
Willie Pete coaches these running backs, and they're excited about Horton. He's a long, striding, big, strong back. 6'2.5", 6'3", weighs about 230 pounds, has excellent speed. You can see him just kind of dragging people. Good strength on that play as he gets outside the 40-yard line.
You said he reminded you of Calvin Hill, and he did indeed on that run.
He does. Yes, he does.
The fake to Horton. Watch out. 91, Brad Van Pelt. Oh, the Raiders guessed right on that defensive call.
That's the 4th sack of the day for this Raider defense. They got 10 sacks against the Jets earlier this year. Linebacker coming, Mike Davis coming, an all-out blitz, uncharacteristic of the Raiders at this point on the field. They caught the Chiefs in an offensive situation where they simply could not pick it up. Not enough people to pick it up. They got the sack.
That was a good call. The Chiefs have been running on first down most of the game. Kenny was going to pass there on first down and lose his 10.
I know somebody's going to be happy. Howie's put together a fund. He gives $500 of his money. Some corporate sponsors come up with $2,000 of their money. And every time he sacks a quarterback, $2,500 goes to the MS Society. Now, the MS Society is going to be pleased today. That's Howie's 3rd sack of the day. And the 5th sack for the Raiders.
Well, that sack is going to be full of gold the way Long is going. Back to the 21, and Bill Kenny is in one of those impossible 3rd down and a mile situations. Oop, a late start, and flags are down. And that's going to flop incomplete. It appeared that the Chiefs moved before a slow snap, but it may not matter. That would bring up 4th down and long, and Raiders may be eager to get the pellet.
Now the Raiders will disregard this penalty, although the way the Chiefs are playing, if they took the penalty, they might be able to get them back a little further. They're going the wrong direction, Dick.
Illegal motion, 76 offense, penalty refused, 4th down.
Lyle Alzado on the field doing a little cheerleading and a little officiating of his own. Look at him here. He's saying, yeah, hey, it's on those guys. We'll get the ball. Let's give them a chance to punt it.
Arnold's kick. A bit better this time. Chases Walker back, and a fair catch at the 34.
2 plays in a row. They've sent Albert Lewis streaking down on that punt return to cover the man with the ball.
Now, as I understand it, Bobby, in baseball, you keep your players in a bullpen, choke your bats, and steal bases?
That's right, Freddie, and just about everybody drinks light beer from Miller.
Oh, this is the one that's less filling.
Right again, and that's important to an old base stealer like me, and it tastes great.
Certainly does. Now, about these bases, mate, how many did you steal?
681.
Wow. 681? Blimey, where do you keep them all?
Light beer from Miller, everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
That's a...
We look at Howie Long on the Raider bench, and on the short end of the score, the Chargers, as Seattle has just moved in front 13-7 up at the Kingdome in the 3rd, and the Rams find Minnesota scoring a touchdown. Same score there at Anaheim. From the 35, the Raiders leading 13-3 here in the Coliseum, and a big hole for Marcus Allen. Allen still on his feet to the 45-yard line. 20 yards for Marcus Allen.
One of the things that happens to you frequently when you find yourself on the short side of the score, you try and make the big play, and sometimes that means that you're going to miss a play. Spaney overran the play. Number 59 overran Marcus Allen, who's so quick at cutting back against the grain, gets the big gain out of the play.
And Marcus, as you saw, bobbling the ball. There was a potential fumble there. We've had no turnovers, but alertly able to re-embrace it. Allen again. Oh, what a clever run. Good for 7. Yeah, circling and moving to get the 7. Let's pause briefly for station identification from Los Angeles. This is the NBC television network.
This is WDAF TV4 Kansas City.
Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen. We're at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 80-degree day. Los Angeles Raiders trying to return the favor to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs winning at home against the Raiders 36-20 a couple of weeks ago. It's 13-3. Raiders with the ball and the lead. 2nd down and a long 3 at the 39. And Marcus Allen warming up. Gets only a yard or so and short of the 1st down on that vault off right tackle. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited.
Looks to me that the Raiders trying to get that running attack going. Obviously would love to control the clock here. They have not run the ball that well so far this year. They're 20th in the league in rushing. It's certainly not the kind of dominant Raider football that Al Davis would like to be playing.
3 tight ends, and Allen right up the middle appears to have the 1st down at the 35. Now Marcus Allen, 4 straight calls on this series, gaining 6 after his 20-yard rush, then 6, 3, and 1, a couple of 1st downs. So he is only 2 yards shy of Kansas City's total running.
Well, here they are in the middle of that rushing line. We mentioned that Dalby now has gone over to guard. You see Bill Moss, number 63, trying to surge underneath, but he gets late on there and opening a little room. Good hard play in the middle of that line.
Todd Christensen, the only tight end now. He's 4 catches for 42 yards. Allen, good move, eludes Calvin Daniel. Gets away from another tackler and out of bounds, close to another Raider 1st down.
In the middle of that offensive line, Dave Dalby is playing with a sore toe. His job to control number 63, Bill Moss. He got good help on that play by number 72, Don Mosbar, who started this game at center and has now moved over to that right guard position. I asked Mosbar if he minded moving like that. He said, I don't mind playing either position, but I'd like a few days to get ready for it. Well, didn't have that opportunity today as Mickey Marvin went down with a knee injury.
2nd and 2. Hawkins, a rare call for the fullback from Nevada Reno, and Bill Moss, the man you had alluded to, Merlin, was right there to make the stop.
Now, this is what you'd call power football and emotional football. And you get a feeling for that as you see things begin to explode on that line of scrimmage. I mentioned earlier, these two teams do not like each other, and the Raiders right here trying to take advantage of their physical size. This is a very big offensive line. And on a grass field, on a natural turf field, and we saw some differences in the way these Chiefs have been able to succeed on an artificial turf field and a grass field. One of the things that happens is that power and size pay bigger dividends on the natural turf.
Allen cannot get the first down yardage. Good defensive charge by the Chiefs. It appeared to be number 90, Bob Ham. He also from Nevada Reno. A couple of years with the Oilers. It'll be 4th down and a long one.
You'll see it for yourself. Hawkins blocking Otis McKinney, but Ham took that shot right in the chest. That's what's called giving up the body for the good of the team. That one hurt, but it was an effective tackle anyway.
4th and 2, leading by 10. Tom Flory says, I know you fans want more, but we're going to go for the field goal. And Chris Barr will attempt this one from the 35. That'll be a 45-yard attempt. It's hooking, no good. Wide to the left. So Barr was connected twice, unsuccessful from just inside the 45-yard line. It'll officially be ruled a miss from 44.
Well, you know that he watched it pull out of there. That's a lonely job, Dick. That's a lonely job being a field goal kicker.
And he handles it as well as anyone. Barr, he's there's an interesting temperament among kickers, and he seems to be pretty solid in that regard. He gives you what he has. Now the Chiefs take over at the 27. Kenny trying to get that offense moving. The throw is to Page, and he can't connect. Lester Hayes playing him shoulder pad to shoulder pad, but Page had a shot at it.
Again, Kansas City continues to challenge the man-to-man coverage. Hayes and Haynes getting that ball there, but they could not handle it on that play. Looking down on the line of scrimmage, Sean Jones, a huge defensive end, 6'8", 280 pounds in the ball game now, as the Raiders also moving people in and out. He's one they really like. They feel he's a real comer.
Jones from Northeastern Boston. Howie Long from Boston High School system. Draw to Horton. Boy, he does give you that second effort, lunging forward to the 35-yard line. An 8-yard pickup for Horton.
Young players tend to make mistakes. Watch it right here, number 99, John Jones, hooked outside by John Alt. That's a good job. Actually, it was Brad Buddy that hooked him. Number 66 turned him outside, made room for the play inside.
Jets now with a 6-point lead at Cincinnati in the third quarter.
Kansas City needs to get some points on the board, Dick. They got to get this ball downfield.
45 seconds left in the third quarter. A 10-point Raider lead. Jeff Smith close to a first down. That's going to probably require a measurement. He's out to the 37-yard line.
He's
and
going
that's
to
where
be
the yardsticks are.
I think he's going to be short on the mark, Dick. They may have to mark it. And this will make a tough call for Makovic, although I don't think he's got any choice. I think he's got to kick it away.
Yeah, they mark it at the 36. It will be 4th and 1, and in comes the punting team. John Makovic. He started with a 6-10 record, then last year moved up to 8-8, winning the last 3. He's off to a good start this year, 3-1. In fact, if the Chiefs win this year, 4-1 would be their best start in 15 seasons. Denver moving up on Houston 24-3, and a beautiful kick by Arnold. Walker back at the 9-yard line. Gets away. 20 and out of bounds at the 24. be back after these messages from your local station. We go to the fourth quarter, 13-3, the Raiders lead. First 4 games of the year, the Chiefs led the NFL in takeaways, 18, a +8, tied with Dallas, while the Raiders typically are a -1. But it's been error-free the first 3 quarters today. Starting from the 24, Marcus Allen, and he is tuning up, starting to pick off the 5s and 10-yard gains instead of the 2s and 3s.
This is exactly what you can't afford if you're on that Chiefs sideline. The thing you've got to be thinking now is control that Raider offense. Keep them deep in their own territory. Either take that ball away or force the quick punt. They need the football. Can't score without the football. Makovic exhorting his defense. Let's go. Let's get that football. Let's shut them down.
10 yards for Allen and a first down. Ooh. Allen caught in the backfield. Knifing through as Gary Spaney to dump him for a loss. Let's go to NFL 85.
Dick, at Cincinnati, the Jets were looking for 6 here, but they settled for 2. Louis Breeden goes from the sublime to the ridiculous in the blink of an eye. The interception, but it's not his momentum that carried him in, say the officials. Too many steps. Wesley Walker tackles him for a safety.
Boy, that'll be a New York Jets trivia question. Wesley Walker with a safety?
Figure that one out.
Here it's 13-3. The Raiders with the ball in the lead, 2nd down and 12. Great time for Wilson. And double coverage that time on Dokie Williams. Kevin Ross was there and had help from Deron Cherry.
Outstanding man-to-man coverage on the speedy Dokie Williams by number 31, Kevin Ross, who has to sing by the actions of the receiver. The lift of the hands, the eyes. Watch him right here. He just spun around. Not able to touch that football, but tight enough on Dokie Williams that there was no chance for Dokie to get his mitts on it either.
Now Ross, remember, last year went 71 yards for a touchdown as a rookie against the Raiders with an interception. 3rd and 12. Allen to the 40, and will be short of the first down at the 41. Deron Cherry, one of the many tacklers to stop Marcus Allen, and in comes Ray Guy and the Raider punting team.
I'm sure that Mark Wilson has some ambivalent feelings toward these Kansas City Chiefs. It was against the Chiefs 2 years ago that he tore up his shoulder and lost his starting job to Jim Plunkett, who then came back in and led his team on to the Super Bowl.
Wilson holding up today despite that painful and swelled ankle. It's 13-3, and the Chiefs will get the ball with 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Garcia Lane back at the 15, the rookie from Ohio State. 10-man rush. They just do miss blocking that one. They force Guy to angle it poorly to avoid the block, and that's going to go out of bounds around the 30 all the way to the 31-yard line. So the Chiefs take over at that spot. 12 minutes, 48 seconds left. It's Cushion Day at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. There's a young fan with her gift from the Raider management. Is the cushion big enough for Los Angeles? They lead 13-3. Chiefs with the ball after the 28-yard punt, and Kenny going deep for a change, and he's got his man out of bounds, Henry Marshall. And does he take a licking?
Tom Flores took the hardest hit on the sideline. The Raider head coach absolutely decked on that play as Henry Marshall leveled him coming out of bounds. I don't think Henry saw him, and you see a smile on his face. Let's watch the end of that play and watch Tom Flores take a shot right here. That's Mike Haynes pushing him, and I don't think Marshall would have hit him without that shove.
Tom Flores. Ouch. Well, Wesley Walker has a safety, and Flores has a hit. First down, Kansas City at the 47. It's the best field position Kenny's had since the first quarter. He eludes the blitz. Not all the Raiders, however. And the Raiders have a half-dozen sacks. Let's go to NFL 85.
Dick, the Oilers trail at Denver 24-10 in the third, but this play is certain to make their highlight film. Warren Moon to the former Giant Butch Woolfolk, and he takes off on a run that would do Gale Sayers proud, shedding tacklers, sidestepping guys, bouncing off 2 more, and into the end zone for a 67-yard score.
No such exciting runs or passes today. It's really been a game without the spectacular offensively. Defense, however, with Rod Martin getting another sack, 6 for the Raiders, and Bill Kenny has a 2nd down and 19. Down the middle he goes to Arnold, almost intercepted, and that would have been the first turnover of the game. Lester Hayes looking for his 35th career interception.
Dick, several things that we can see happening in this game. With that kind of lead, the Raiders able to gamble a little more on defense, and they've stepped out of character a little bit. They're coming with the blitz out in the middle of the field. Usually they like to blitz when you get down close to the goal line, but they've realized that they can get to Kenny. They can force him to make a couple of bad throws, perhaps take the ball away. And of course, they've been able to sack him today. They haven't been giving him much time to throw the football.
To Marshall in a crowd. He's got it in a first down at the 41-yard line. Oh, what a throw by Kenny.
That play typifies one of the big differences between these two teams in their passing philosophy. The Kansas City Chiefs throw timing patterns, in particular against the man-to-man defense. You see it right here, over the top to a predetermined spot on the field. Henry Marshall gets to that spot, collects the football and the first down. Beautiful pass by Kenny.
Well, how does he know to get there with 4 Raiders all around him? That is really pinpoint. First down, it's a 22-yard gain at the Raider 41. 11:23 left, 13-3 Raiders. Kenny going for 6. Stephon Page, touchdown! Go, take that back, 82, Anthony Hancock. Hancock, used sparingly, has caught only 1 pass all year, and he comes up with a bomb today against the Raiders, 41 yards.
You can't cover a wide receiver any better than Hancock was covered on that play. Man-to-man all the way down the sideline. But watch the play here. You see the man is covered. Mike Haynes has him covered all the way, and he just gets that ball up in front of him, and Hancock takes it out of there for a touchdown. Can you believe that?
That is
great play.
Terrific reception by Hancock, who has been somewhat of a disappointment since a #1 pick out of Tennessee in '82. Lowry's try for point, nails it, and suddenly we have a game at the Coliseum. It had been all Raiders for a long time, but one big throw by Kenny, and it's a 3-point game.
Los Angeles Raiders 13.
You want good coverage from a all-pro cornerback? Look at Haynes. What more can you do?
What great concentration, though, by Hancock, who just stayed with that ball and took it out of the air and marched into the end zone with it. That's an exceptional play.
Kenny to Hancock, his 2nd catch of the year, a 41-yard touchdown. The kickoff comes down to Sammy Seal. Seal at the 20. And Kevin Ross has him at the 27-yard line. On that drive, Merlin, Kenny really showed his accurate touch. He had Marshall in that crowd of 4 on 3rd and 20 to get 21 yards and a first down. And then, well, other than moving over on the other side of Hancock, how can you throw the ball better than that?
Kenny has said, I have confidence in my receivers, and I'm not afraid to go to them even if they're covered. That was an apparent case of it. He also threw that ball under tremendous heat from the Raider defense and had to have it just perfectly, as you saw. That ball was a few inches longer, it's missed. A few inches shorter, it's knocked away by Haynes.
And with 11:05 left, the pressure now back on the Raiders, who lead only 13-10. So Wilson will throw. And he's got his man Williams at the 33-yard line. Dokie Williams tackled by Jerry Blanton. And Marcus Allen comes in and says, hey, you don't need to rough him up. But Marcus isn't he's the orator. He comes in with a finger shaking and verbalization. He says, I'm not the fighter, I'm a lover.
We've seen him angry a few times on the field, but not very often, and mostly in terms of defending a teammate, as he was there. One of the things, Dick, that the Kansas City Chiefs have had trouble doing today is getting pressure on the quarterback here in the second half. Wilson, of course, using the running game to keep that heat down. There's the last part of that play. You saw Marcus going in to defend Dokie Williams.
2nd and 3. Allen with a carry and a first down and more. 40 and not to bounds. He goes at the 45-yard line. Sherman Cockcroft made the tackle.
That's something else you do, I think, if you're smart. When you know Marcus is mad, you give him the ball. A little adrenaline there to help him get upfield. He gets a relatively easy first down. Puts the ball out on the 43-yard line with a 1st and 10. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are back in this ball game, but they've got to do the same thing they had to do just a few moments ago. They got to shut down the Raider offense, take the football back. Now, if you're the Raiders, you're thinking ball control, run the football, eat the clock, and let's get down and put more points on the board.
Behind the block of Hawkins, Marcus Allen gets 2. Hawkins in motion and trying to lead through the hole. You're seeing more and more of that, aren't you, Merlin? Those wingbacks coming in almost like trap blockers.
Well, we call that wham blocking a lot of times. They bring those people in from the outside, and if you're a defensive player, you don't know where they've come from.
So the score in Denver as the Broncos leading handily over the Houston Oilers.
So much of what you do, you read keys in front of you as a defensive lineman or as a linebacker, and when someone comes from a strange position, it's hard to read that.
2nd and 8. Oh, very nearly an interception, but it's a fine catch as Spaney close to picking that one off. It appears to be Todd Christensen. It is Christensen with that 46. He says, I like to wear 46. He said, when the secondary sees me, I'm just what's a 46? Just a slow guy coming in there.
Yeah, you feel like you're in the backfield with quarterback Mark Wilson. Put some good heat on that ball, got it inside, and that ball had to be perfectly thrown. Gary Spaney had excellent position on Todd Christensen, but the ball well enough thrown and comfortably cradled in Christensen's arms. Nothing you could do about it.
It's interesting that Mike Ditka wanted to shift Christensen to a tight end when he was with the Cowboys, but Todd resisted. He wanted to be a running back. Over the middle again, Doki Williams pays the price, but it's another first down at the 42.
Doki Williams, his name becoming a bigger and bigger recognized factor with this Raider offense. Stepping across the middle here. We mentioned his courage a little earlier. Well, I tell you, for a guy that size to just lay it in there and say, hey, go ahead and hit me, I'm going to catch the ball. You've got to have courage to do that.
Oh, the Raiders on the drive, leading 13-10. Marcus Allen right into the arms of number 50 Calvin Daniels and 57 Jerry Blanton. Tonight, Punky Brewster. Punky and Sherry start a babysitting business. Silver Spoons next. Its mother returns penniless. Will Edward offer her a job? And don't miss the exciting adventure, amazing stories from executive producer Steven Spielberg, and then Alfred Hitchcock. And to cap it all off, the long, hot summer miniseries. Don Johnson, Sybil Shepherd, Jason Robards, Ava Gardner. What a cast. Wilson to Williams. Kevin Ross there to come. No, it's 84 Jesse Hester who comes up with the ball. And a first down inside the 30.
Jesse Hester with an acrobatic catch. He's another name that we're hearing more and more of. The Raiders pleased that this first-round draft pick, their first-round draft pick, is starting to show some of the promise and starting to deliver on what they'd hoped he would be able to do for them. He has excellent speed. Doki has great speed. Al Davis, I'm sure, pleased to see the vertical game back and alive here in Los Angeles.
Allen for 5, maybe 6. Jerry Blanton with the tackle, and the clock is running. This has been a time-consuming drive by the Raiders. Now 6:45 left in the game.
You almost feel like Marcus is going to come into your living room or wherever you're watching this game, and ouch, that hurts. Jerry Blanton, 57, one of the tacklers, along with Calvin Daniels on that play.
Allen, his 25th carry. He's 3 yards shy of the 100-yard mark. He's not gone over the century mark this year. That's unofficially 97 yards. On first down, deflected and almost intercepted. That could have been a touchdown for the Chiefs, except they got in their own way. 2 Chiefs battling for it and actually denied the interception. Otis McKinney, 21, had a great shot.
Now that ball slipped out of Mark Wilson's hands. You remember last year he had his his thumb injured in that Chicago game. This ball pops out of his hand. Watch it right here. The ball just, it's tipped. You're right, Dick. It looked like it popped out of his hand, but the ball was tipped up. Now watch Radisek, 97, who could not get off Otis McKinney. McKinney had the ball. Radisek had committed himself. He still was looking to tackle someone. Ended up knocking McKinney away from the football after he got his hands on it, started to get it under control.
So it's 3rd down and 4. Wilson toward the end zone, wide open, but out of bounds is Frank Hawkins. No one covered Hawkins, but Wilson's throw was a bit too wide and took his receiver out of bounds.
Wide open is right. That's the kind that will drive you crazy if you're coaching. You go all week trying to prepare a play or several plays that will get people open. You get one, you get a perfect shot at a touchdown, and the ball is thrown in a position where it takes the receiver out of bounds instead of into the end zone.
So instead of 7, the Raiders apparently go for the 3 that would give them only a 6-point lead. Barr from 42. And he has his 3rd field goal of the afternoon. 6:04 left. Raiders 16, Chiefs 10. Frank Hawkins at the end of the Raider bench, ever so close to a touchdown reception. The Raiders settled for 3, and it's a 6-point game. Anthony Hancock, the touchdown maker. And a flag goes down again. The Chiefs apparently will be penalized from the 20. And while they settle that decision, let's go back to Bob Costas in NFL 85.
Well, Dick, the Broncos have broken their game with the Oilers wide open, leading 31-10 now in the 3rd quarter. Rookie Vance Johnson makes this catch of the John Elway pass. Tippy-toes down the sideline for the TD, the 3rd touchdown throw of the game for Elway. They're out in front by 21.
Get that tippy-toes. You know, Bob and Randy are expecting the spring. He's already getting into the vernacular. Tippy-toes.
Well, not a lot of tippy-toeing here, but I'm sure Jim Vecchiarella, the special teams coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, has got to be terribly frustrated. That's the 3rd time today they've lost yardage because of penalties on kickoff returns.
Now Kenny starting 90 yards from the goal line. Ethan Horton, the rookie, and he draws a crowd. And you know that Howie Long will be there, 75. And Rod Martin, those 2 All-Pros, have played up to all of their press clippings today.
One thing that the Raiders do know how to do and have done well all year is to stop the rushing game. They're 3rd in the league in doing that. 52, right, 53. Rod Martin right there. You see Howie Long from the inside. Bill Pickel, 71. 4 bodies on top of him and 2 waiting to get a chance, Dick.
Into the setting sun from the east toward the western end of the Coliseum as you watch Bill Kenny set his line 2nd and 10. Incomplete, or does he have it? It's a catch. Oh my, Stephen Page. What a reception. And there again, Hayes, Lester Hayes was all over him. Perfect coverage.
Watch this acrobatic catch. The football controlled right there. Woo. Now he's got to have part of his body inside and downing that ball. He obviously has control of the ball, but did he land out of bounds? Can't really see from our angle. The official, who's looking right down the line, feeling that his thighs had touched inbounds before his elbows touched out of bounds.
A 16-yard play and a big 1st down out to the 25 with 5 minutes remaining in the game, and the Chiefs trailing by 6. Kenny going deep. And too long for Henry Marshall.
Boy, they continue to challenge. We talked about it all through the game. They have gone after Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes all day long. Sometimes they're able to get inside and over the top of great coverage. They just have continued to hammer all day long on them.
Talking to Lester Hayes yesterday at the Raider practice, he says, Dick, I can't believe it. He says that it's just like Dan Marino, this Bill Kenny. We have perfect coverage on a guy, and he'll force the ball in there. I can hear the ball going by my helmet. I think I've got him stopped, and they make the catch.
Well, for a long time, I think teams just conceded those outside paths to those 2 cornerbacks. Not any longer. They're going after him.
2nd and 10. Good protection this time. Open man, Page, and another circus catch. Stephon Page. Oh,
What a reception, and Kenny, just as he was being hit, a flag is down.
One of the things you don't want to see is one of those wide receivers on the ground because Carlos Carson is already injured. We've seen him just one play in the game.
Page, who had 9 catches coming in.
Personal foul, a 5-yard face mask penalty while the ball was in the air on 37 defense. That penalty is declined. It's a first down at the catch.
Well, that's close coverage. Lester Hayes.
Let's see if we can see it here. Lester reaching up at some point here. Now, I think they felt that he had the face mask early. I don't believe he had it the second time. And there you see him. He's trying to maintain position on Stephon Page, but boy, I'll tell you, Page is a great athlete, giving him all the twists and turns in the book, just like a crooked highway down the mountain.
Oh, well, they scouted Henry Ellard up at Fresno State, and finally the Chief scout came back and said, hey, they've got another guy who can play. This Stephon Page. They picked him up as a free agent, and what a return. First down at the KC 49. Bruce King gets a block, and short yardage to the 48 of the Raiders, 3 yards on the play. McElroy made the tackle.
Still a hesitant running game, though, Dick. And it's a shame. And in a way, if Kansas City could do what they wanted to do and could establish that running game as a viable threat, then their passing attack would be so much more effective. But Makovic, who has a bright mind for creating the passing attack and the many options that will confuse you there, has just not been able to get the kind of power attack that he needs on the line of scrimmage to get those holes open.
You saw Page campaigning with Makovic on the sidelines. He is the extrovert of that receiving corps for the Chiefs. Blitz. Kenny almost intercepted. In fact, Walt Arnold had to break it up from Stacy Turan. Turan, who had an interception and a touchdown in the opening game of the season against the Jets when he went 76 for a score.
The Raiders have delightful names for their long yardage coverage. 5 defensive backs is Pirate, 6 is Bandit. They'd love to get him in there. Turan goes in on the 6th defensive back defense. Stays in there to cause some problems there. Carlos Carson in the game. He and Lester one-on-one on the far side.
On 3rd and 7, going long, and there's a case where the penalty should be on Marshall or Carson.
It'll be on Carson.
Carson was pulling at Lester Hayes to deny the interception, and Hayes saying, whoops. Carson saying, hey, just doing my job. Hayes is mad. He wanted to purloin on the play.
Yeah, Lester is rightfully indignant on that play. He was interfered with. And again, I think if Carlos Carson was healthy, you probably wouldn't see this penalty. He realizes he's got himself in trouble here. He's not going to get open. The ball had already been thrown. And he figured that Lester had a better shot than he did, so he just took a hold. Lester doing a little play acting there at the end of that thing. Decided he'd fall down, make it look a little bit better, but the flags had already been thrown.
They, of course, declined the penalty to force the punt. Well, it's bad news to see Carson get the penalty for Kansas City fans. It's good news to see him in the game. That means that he's ready to go full bore probably at least next week, while he's been limited today.
They've done a better job of covering these punts, Dick. Let's see if they can get down there again.
Arnold's kick, high, dying spiral. Fulton Walker, fair catch at the 9-yard line. Oh, with 3:24 left. The ball in the hands of the Raiders. All the scores: Miami by 4, Cleveland by 4. A big win for the 49ers. They're 3-2. Atlanta still winless. The Bears keep Tampa Bay winless, and Chicago is 5-0 off the start. 43-10 Green Bay. Indianapolis wins a large margin over the Bills. 23-21 New Orleans now is 3-2 over Philadelphia. Seattle has opened up a 19-7 lead against Seattle fourth quarter. The Jets now leading 29-13. They're trying to go 4-1 since losing their opener here to the Raiders. Denver 31-13 lead over Houston, and the Rams lead is 3 over Minnesota in the fourth. You're up to date here at 16-10. Marcus Allen has a first down. Finally knocked out of bounds at the 25. Allen's biggest day of the season, well over the 100-yard mark.
It's apparent and wise for the Raiders. They simply would like to run out the clock now. They've got their lead on the board. They want to keep the football away from Kansas City. The best way, give it to Marcus Allen. Let him eat the clock with the running game. Good job here of getting upfield, picking the space, finally laying down on the job, but not till he picked up a sizable gain in the first down.
16 yards to give him 118 for the day and over 400 yards on the season. Frank Hawkins, a change in number by Mark Wilson, and he draws 5 or 6 Chiefs to the ball. Mike Bell leading that cavalry.
You can put yourself in the mind of the Raiders sideline right now. The one thing they don't want to do is to see that ball loose on the ground or intercepted. We can expect them, as long as it's working, to run the football or throw a high percentage pass. On the opposite sideline, they've got to be thinking strip the ball. Get that ball away, knock it loose, try and get a fumble, try and force an interception.
Also thinking about using the timeouts. Kansas City has all 3. Clock running down to 2:38 left in the game. They're going to stay on the ground to chew up the clock, and it's Marcus Allen out to the 34. He'll be a yard shy of a first down. Ken Jolly makes the tackle, and there is one of the timeouts exercised with 2:28 left.
Brings up a big third down situation, short of the first, and I wonder if they don't make it on this third down, what Flores would do. I think he would have to kick it away. He certainly wants to put as much green between Kansas City's offense and their end zone as possible.
Well, while this crowd of 55,133, that's in attendance, they had 61,000 plus tickets sold. We'd like to remind you the crowds will be large and enthusiastic as we start the drive toward the World Series. The championship series will begin on Tuesday night here on NBC. Join us from Toronto as the Royals and Blue Jays open the American League Series, and they will play on Wednesday afternoon game 2, while our coverage will follow both American and National Leagues on Wednesday night. Here in Los Angeles, the Dodgers and the Cardinals will open with game 1 of the National League Championship Series. And of course, baseball has always been a tradition here on the home of the Peacock, NBC Sports, and we'll look forward to sharing all that excitement as it boils down to a precious few 1985 baseball year. Well, here it is. If the Raiders make a first down, the statistics numbers are obvious. There are only 3 timeouts left for Kansas City, the 2-minute timeout plus 2 of their own, and the Raiders then would get 4 down. So this is an enormous play in the game. And they give it to Allen. Who else? On second effort, it's going to be close.
I don't think he'll make it.
Bill Moss made the hit.
It looked like his shoulder went down in an area where it's... Now I think they're going to mark it right on the line, on the 35, which would be short of the first down.
So Bill Moss made one of the big tackles of this game as he stops Marcus Allen about a half-yard short.
Number 63, right in the middle of your screen, working on Dave Dalby. We mentioned the injury to Dalby. I think that has something to do with Moss's ability, although he's a strong nose tackle, to take care of that center. They were able to stop the play. Raiders now will kick it away, and Kansas City will get one more opportunity at that football.
And we have a 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left in Los Angeles. 2 minutes left. The Raiders 16, the Chiefs 10. Tom Flores has his punting team on the field. Ray Guy with the line of scrimmage at the 35. 4th down and less than a yard. John Makovic of the Chiefs has 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Rookie Garcia Lane back inside the 25 of the Chiefs. Guy gets it away. Good kick. Lane. 15-yard line. And out of bounds at the 21, and there's a flag again. And the Chiefs, throughout the course of this game, on kick returns, have drawn the flag. 50-yard punt by Guy.
What frustration for an offense to have to tack 10 yards onto the length of those drives because of mistakes on special teams.
Illegal block in the back, number 48 during the run back. 10 yards from the dead ball spot.
I believe that's the 4th time today on runbacks that they've been marked off with a 10-yard penalty.
Rookie E.J. Jones running back from Kansas. So instead of starting at the 22-yard line, Bill Kenny, and this is familiar territory, will begin at the 11. He has 1 minute, 51 seconds left, and there's the timeout situation.
That's certainly enough time with the timeouts to move downfield, but a field goal won't do it. A touchdown could win it.
Oh, you'd like to have your starting tackles in there to protect you, wouldn't you?
Now he's going to buy himself some extra time by working from the shotgun. Wide open underneath is Ethan Horton, but he runs the wrong way for a moment, and then he steps out of bounds. So he gave some ground to get some more, and Horton has been impressive here in the second half. He's made some big gains. 14 on that play.
Horton showing you that long, loping style. James Davis, 45, the man he was working on, he stiff-armed him. Boy, he's got long arms, too, and got out of bounds, which is very important to stop that clock.
First down at the 26-yard line with 1:42 left. Carlos Carson is in the game. It's Page to the left, Carson to the right. Kenny too long, almost intercepted. McElroy and Lester Hayes both with a shot at it. Mike Davis was there too. That's one of the few passes that Kenny has not thrown well today.
I believe the Raiders have 7 defensive backs on the field for this play. Sammy Seal, one of those DBs, and neither of the deepest of the Raiders, Mike Davis, the one you're looking at there, spotted that football. I think they both would have had a chance at it, but it dropped between them.
We saw Sammy Seal, 43, holding up Stephon Page. That may be why the pass was long.
7 defensive backs, 4 defensive linemen.
It's incomplete, broken up by Lester Hayes. Ethan Horton was well, you said they have the Pirate for 5 backs and a Bandit is 6. What is this, a crime bust? 7 defensive backs.
Crunch them. Lester Hayes doing a good job of covering on that last play, and tremendous pressure on Kenny. Howie Long and Bill Pickell, 75 and 71. Right now, Kenny is coming up to a crucial 3rd down situation, although this is 4 down time in the ballgame. You don't kick it away here.
1 minute, 32 seconds left, 3rd and 10. With a 16-10 lead for the Raiders, and the Chiefs trying to challenge from their 26. Down the field, intercepted by McElroy. 40, 30, Van McElroy, his first of the year.
You see it quickly in those pictures. The joy and the pain. Let's watch the play from beginning to end. Stephon Page, 83 inside, Carlos Carson outside. He's trying to get it to Page, but there's the pickoff. Beautiful timing. McElroy read it all the way. Just timed his move across in front of the receiver, stripped the ball away, and for all intents and purposes, ends the chance for the Kansas City Chiefs, and all of a sudden we got the air full of cushions, Dick.
Yeah. They're throwing their cushions, their souvenirs. And now they'll just try to wrap up the game. Force the Chiefs to use another timeout, and now they have but 1 remaining with 1:11 left. And that gives us a chance to share these important words with you.
You can manage your business.
Bill Kenny under pressure.
Kenny gets that pass off under a lot of heat. Watch McElroy slicing across right in front to take it away. And they're running the football. Derek Jensen gets it. Obviously, they just want to kill that clock off, Dick.
There's the last timeout used by Kansas City with 1:04 left. We want to acknowledge those who have led the way here this afternoon in our coverage as McElroy and Davis celebrate. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. Coordinating producer, NBC Football, Ted Nathanson. Telecast of today's game has been produced by George Finkel, directed by Dick Klein. NFL 85 produced by John J. Filippelli. NFL 85 directed by Bucky Guns. Technical director Ray Figelski. NFL 85 technical director Salvatore Nagita.
Final, the Rams go 5-0. So both the Bears and the Rams remain perfect, 5-0 in 1985.
It's got to be a frustrating day for John Mackovic. I know he feels it, and you can sense a much greater confidence in this Kansas City team. They're a better football team than they were last year. He really has this building program to where it's paying giant dividends. But they are on the verge of losing another game on natural turf. Means they've only won one on natural turf since he came into Kansas City, and they're about to lose to an arch rival in their own division, something they would like to have avoided today.
And they have to go back to a natural turf field next week when they play at San Diego. The Raiders will be home versus New Orleans.
But they get San Diego without Fouts. That's one of the luck of the draw kind of thing.
3rd and 4, Marcus Allen. He doesn't get the first down at the 24, but now the clock will run. No way for Kansas City to stop it. 55, 54, ticks away. And when they mark it, there'll be 30 seconds. So there'll be 18 seconds when they have to snap the ball. And then if they don't make the first down, the Chiefs would get the ball with a couple of seconds left. In comes a Barr, but would you risk a field goal that could be blocked and taken the other way? Ask Jerry Faust at Notre Dame what can happen when you try a field goal attempt, as the Air Force beat him with a blocked field goal yesterday.
Well, they're interesting decisions. You know that if you run the football, you're going to leave time for at least one play, possibly two plays.
Raiders, second timeout.
We might see something besides a kick here, Dick. We might see them just take the ball out of kick formation and run with it.
That would be a good guess, because in that case you're running some time off the clock. You're not risking a blocked field goal, and indeed you may get the first down, and then all you have to do is take one snap from center. It's over, or it might be even over on the play.
And of course, who are you going to snap it to? Mark Wilson is ordinarily the holder with that bad ankle. I don't think he's going to want to run around with it. I don't know if you want to trust your kicker Barr to run with it.
You mean
do you want to go down and get it? We'll give it to you.
Swivel hips, Chris Barr? Are you kidding?
Well, they may have to kick it out here. Let's see what happens. They've got the offense back on the field now. No, they don't. They've still got Barr out there.
Barr, who is just one class away from his law degree, he has a property law class to follow. He said, will that help you negotiate with Al Davis? The lawyer, he said, nothing you learn outside football can help you with Al Davis. If this will be 41 yards, and it's not if, it's 3.
Well, a vote of confidence for the kicking game. The Raiders put it through the uprights, and there's no question about who's going to win this game.
19-10 as Barr connects. He's had a good day. 4 for 5 for Chris Barr. We said earlier, he's really an honest count. He gives you what you expect. He doesn't disappoint you. He can't give you that real long bomb that Nick Lowry can, but Barr will get you most of the threes that you expect.
Well, Mackovic could only watch on that kick, hoping, I'm sure, that the ball would be mishandled or somehow it could be blocked. It was not to be.
So Barr today, 37, 25, 41, and 41-yard field goals. He missed only from 44. 15 seconds remain. It's academic now. Just kick it off and maybe one play for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, how things begin to tighten up in the AFC West.
Yes, indeed. This AFC West, very likely, when we look at the standings tomorrow morning, we'll have 4 teams at 3-2 and 1 at 2-3. Can't be any tighter than that, or hardly. Short man, Bruce King, the fullback, takes it out close to the 35-yard line. The clock stops. Should stop. It didn't, but now stops at 9 seconds. So Kenny, a play maybe 2 before the game comes to an end. And the fighter, Mackovic, by the way, it's interesting that he was talking yesterday about Brian Piccolo, who was a former Bear and a teammate at Wake Forest. He says he hears occasionally from Brian's brother and the daughter, Brian Piccolo, back at Wake Forest, where they both attended. Mackovic was the quarterback and Piccolo was his running back.
I like him.
I do
he's
too.
Put together a good program, Dick.
And it'll get better, don't you think?
I think it'll get better. I think it'll continue to improve.
Well, here's the 3 wide receivers to the right. There's Lester Hayes is on the Raider 25-yard line. He's waiting for the ball to come. He's got his eyes on it. He leaps, and he can't get it. Hayes knew exactly where the play was going. He was standing right down there on the 25. 1 second left and one more desperation attempt for Kenny.
What a frustrating feeling, knowing that really you can't do anything to win this game.
Look at Hayes now. He's drifting back now. The line of scrimmage is the 35 of Kansas City, and Lester right now, wide now, there he is down at the Raider 25. He figures, now I know Kenny can throw it about 60 yards. He's got it all worked out.
he's going to come up to get the ball.
Would you call that deep coverage?
Usually he has to backpedal. There's no way he has to backpedal on this one. 3 defensive linemen. They're just trying to contain things in there. This one is over.
Yeah, here's the final turn, and the 3 wide receiver flood to the right. Oh, Kenny goes down the middle instead to Stephon Page. But there are nothing but Raiders there, and he finally is down at the 48-yard line, and with it, the game is over. The Raiders move back into a tie for first place with a 19-10 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. For Merlin Olsen, Dick Enbert, stay tuned for NFL 85 after these messages.